Attention to all participants. The program will be continued in 5 minutes. You can start fill up the last attendance from 3:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. The link has been provided by the committees at the chat box. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back to seminar Hari Kerjaya Fakulti Sains dan Teknologi, and thank you for all those who attend this program from the early beginning for staying until the last slide. Thank you. Without wasting so much time, I welcome Associate Professor Dr. Sakina Ali Pichai to give a talk about Sistem Kajian Pengesahan Graduan SKPG till 3 p.m.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you to the MC Alia Safa. Okay, and good afternoon to everyone. So I hope everyone already getting your lunch. Okay, and also thank you for staying with us until now. Okay, now I'm going to share my slides. Okay. Okay, can you see my slides?
Yes, Doctor.
Alright. Okay, now I'm in the slideshow, so I cannot see you or in the chat box. Okay. Okay, I don't think we have the international students sebab untuk slot ni saya akan cakap dalam bahasa Melayu lah sebab slide ni memang kebanyakannya daripada sumber KPT. Okay, saya akan menggunakan bahasa Melayu. Okay, might be mixed up. Okay. Baik, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Seterusnya kita akan mula dengan Taklimat Sistem Kajian Pengesanan Graduan iaitu SKPG. Okay, untuk pengetahuan semua, bagi yang tak mengenali saya adalah tim melandikan haluan pelajar dan alumni. Okay, mungkin pelajar ISA dah kenal lah. Okay, right. So, terus kepada poin yang pertama. Mungkin ada yang tak pernah dengar lagi SKPG sebab first time korang akan isi bila nak grad. Okay, this is my outline, isi kandungan. So, sedikit penerangan tentang definisi, pengenalan SKPG, objektif, sasaran, siapa yang patut isi. And then panduan mengisi SKPG. And then we have also the methodology SKPG 1 dengan SKPG 2.0. And then saya akan sharekan juga dapatan kajian GE-IPT, statistik GE-USIM dan juga FST. Okay, and then apa implikasi bila GE rendah? Kenapa penting untuk pelajar isi? Okay, tarikh-tarikh penting SKPG dan juga soalan-soalan lazim yang biasa ditanya oleh pelajar. Dan finally adalah sesi Q&A. We try to finish by 2:55. So the next slot we can start punctual at 3 p.m. Okay, and the last one will be the Kahoot session. Okay. This is the definisi bekerja bagi kebolehpasaran graduan. Okay, maksudnya daripada National Graduate Employability Blueprint. Okay, maksudnya bila korang buka sistem SKPG tu, apa yang dikatakan kategori sebagai bekerja adalah graduan yang bekerja, of course. Itu memang nombor satu lah. Nombor dua, graduan yang melanjut dengan pengajian. Okay, you furthering master study. Okay, contohnya. Yang ketiga adalah graduan yang sedang mengikuti latihan bagi meningkatkan kemahiran. So for example, bagi semua peserta yang menyertai seminar hari ini, kita sediakan e-sijil sebab ini salah satu contoh bagaimana you meningkatkan kemahiran. Okay, so the next slide will be on the lebih kepada apa orang kata resume, negotiations on the interview. Itu part you attend training ataupun meningkatkan you punya skills ataupun apa lain lagi online training yang you attend that you will be awarded with the some certificate. You can choose this one. Okay, dan seterusnya, dan graduan yang sedang menunggu penempatan pekerjaan. Okay, and the last one is actually biasanya adalah pelajar-pelajar yang daripada medical. Okay, sebab mereka akan automatik lah boleh pilih menunggu penempatan walaupun lambat. Okay, sebab tu kalau kita tengok carta untuk statistik pelajar FPSK, dia punya orang kata statistik tu memang 100% lah selalu sebab akan ada jaminan lah untuk doktor walaupun lambat tapi dia status dalam menunggu penempatan pekerjaan. Okay, seterusnya, apa itu pengenalan SKPG? Okay, sistem kajian pengesanan graduan ataupun kita panggil sebagai soal selidik bersistem yang telah dibangunkan oleh Kementerian Pengajian Tinggi KPT. Okay, sistem ni bukan USIM punya, sistem ni adalah daripada KPT yang dibangunkan dan semua pelajar perlu isi, bukan USIM sahaja. Okay. Hasil keputusan SKPG ni kenapa penting untuk isi? Okay, yang nombor dua tu dia masih lagi merujuk kepada yang first slide tadi, yang bekerja, menyambung pengajian, meningkatkan kemahiran. For example, this one, you attending this one, going to improve your knowledge. Okay, menunggu penempatan ataupun Kadang ada setengah pelajar dia orang kata nak mudah. Tak payahlah isi apa-apa, malas panjang. So dia pilihlah belum atau tidak bekerja. Tapi benda ni implikasi kepada USIM, implikasi kepada FST, implikasi kepada junior. You akan tengok nanti program you statistik rendah. Nak tengok ke benda tu rendah? Macam mana Kak? Okay, kejap lagi saya akan tunjuklah statistik benda tu. Okay, seterusnya graduan institusi awam ataupun swasta bagi tahun semasa wajib mengisi SKPG sebelum pelajar itu bergraduasi. So you actually adalah pelajar-pelajar yang bakal bergraduate insyaAllah pada November ni. Okay, objektif umum dia. Okay, kenapa perlu isi SKPG? Mendapat gambaran sebenar kebolehpasaran employability. Kadang-kadang masa sebut GE, apa benda GE ni kan? Sekarang ni saya rasa kita dah mula perkenalkan juga poster infografik insyaAllah dan kita akan paparkan lagi. Bila you nampak GE tu adalah Graduate Employability ataupun dalam bahasa Melayu kebolehpasaran graduan dalam kalangan graduan baru. Okay, seterusnya objektif memahami isu-isu berkaitan pekerjaan. Okay, bila you isi kita akan boleh tengoklah statistik you berada di mana dan kerja apa semua tu. Tapi data tu bukan kami dapat straightforward, kami kena minta lah pusat alumni yang akan minta. Pusat alumni dan kerjaya usia yang akan minta daripada KPT. Okay, seterusnya objektif nombor 3, mendapat maklumat dari graduan berkaitan beberapa aspek penting institusi. Dan keempat, membantu kerajaan dalam membuat keputusan dan menggawal polisi berkaitan pekerjaan graduan berasaskan fakta yang jelas. So benda ni penting kalau statistik GE sesuatu program tu rendah, ada kemungkinan program tu perlu dijumutkan. So kenapa saya tekankan sangat-sangat penting untuk semua pelajar wajib isi SKPG ni. Okay. Dan sasarannya adalah semua pelajar tahun akhir yang telah dapat status layak dianugerahkan ijazah ataupun LDI. So majoriti semua dah dapat result kan, Alhamdulillah kan. Mesti perform sebab LI kan. Right, so yang dalam keputusan tu you boleh tengok apa? LDI. Boleh nampak ke dalam result korang ada tulis ke status LDI bagi pelajar tahun akhir? Siapa-siapa boleh respon pelajar tahun akhir? Bila korang tengok result tu, ada tak ada keluar status LDI?
Ada.
Pelajar yang belum tahun akhir, dia keluar status sebagai apa? Perasan tak?
LTP.
Nasib baik ada yang alert. Selalu orang tengok result je kan? LTP. LTP tu apa?
Layak terus pengajian.
Pandai. Layak terus pengajian. Tu LTP dah. Kalau you masih lagi LTP, you tak grade lagi tau. Maksudnya ada subjek yang belum habis. Kalau LDI, you dah tak ada subjek dah. Tinggal nak grade je. Okay, baru boleh isi SKPG ni. Okay, seterusnya panduan mengisi SKPG. Okay, ini adalah link dia. Okay, grade.mohe.government.my. So, you perlu masukkan nombor kad pengenalan ataupun pasport anda. Kemudian masukkan kod keselamatan. Masukkan profil dan status pekerjaan yang telah dipaparkan berdasarkan maklumat anda yang telah tersedia dalam pakaran data KPT sebagai rujukan. Okay, ini maklumat di dalam SKPG. Layout dalam sistem tu lah. Sebab saya sendiri pun tak pernah tengok, saya tak isi kan. Sebab zaman saya tak ada pula kena isi benda ni. Ni zaman korang lah kan. Okay, profil maksudnya section A. Profil graduan, maklumat diri, ni semualah. Tarikh lahir, maklumat pengajian. Kebanyakan yang nombor 1, 2 ni, kebanyakannya adalah maklumat yang telah, saya rasa pusat alumni telah hantar kepada KPT. Okay, dan seterusnya, B adalah status pekerjaan. Yang ni paling penting lah. Bila status pekerjaannya, dia ada 2 option jika bekerja atau jika belum bekerja. Saya tahu dalam keadaan masih pandemik ni ramai lagi yang masih belum dapat pekerjaan. Tetapi bila kita kata definisi bekerja, apa-apa yang menjana pendapatan dikira sebagai bekerja. Okay. So nanti you kena isi jugalah bekerja apa benda semua kan. Jangan terus pilih tak bekerja langsung. Tu impact. Nanti saya akan tunjuk statistik program mana yang memang jawab tak bekerja langsung padahal dia bekerja. So benda ni impact lah kepada nama baik fakulti juga dengan kepada junior. So nampak macam orang kata graduasi ni tak ada peluang yang cerah pula. Disebabkan kita sendiri tak ada tanggungjawab untuk mengisi sistem SKPG ni. So ini adalah info dia lah yang korang akan isi. Dia ada text field lah, korang akan pilih. Okay, right. So not going to read one by one. So saya pun kejar masa. Okay, ini adalah metodologi SKPG. Dia ada dua version. Satu SKPG 1, lagi satu SKPG 2.0. SKPG 1 ni you akan isi sebelum nak combo. tarikh dia belum buka lagi. Nanti bila tarikh dah buka, insyaAllah saya akan selalu update di Telegram tahun 4 FST. Saya rasa mungkin ramai tak cakna langsung tentang Telegram tahun 4 FST ni, ataupun mungkin dah archive dah grup tu. Jadi message masuk pun tak sedar kan. So please read it. Selagi you tak grad, you masih lagi perlu selalu buka SMS, WhatsApp, baca. Sebab sekarang ni semua info melalui online. Kalau you lambat baca, ketinggalan dah. Yeah. Okay, SKPG 2.0 ni adalah untuk kemas kini. Dia ada tarikh lain nanti. Nanti KPT akan buka SKPG 1 ni dari sekian tarikh ke sekian tarikh. Bila dia tutup, lepas tu korang boleh update yang 2.0. Contohnya masa sebelum grad korang update belum bekerja. Tetapi lepas dah grad insyaAllah dah dapat senat scroll semua, korang boleh update pula dalam SKPG 2.0 kemas kini. Right? Benda ni penting untuk statistik. Ini adalah dapatan kajian pengesanan graduan tahun 2020. Okay, yang ini saya dapat info daripada Pusat Lunar dan Kejayaan USIM. Okay, you boleh tengok kat sini contohnya daripada Miko IPT tahun 2020. So UA respondent about 104k. Kita boleh tengok GE dia yang the last column. Okay, peratus dia adalah 86.7%. Betul lah, 86.7. Okay, UA. Then IPTS yang seterusnya swasta 79.4 and then Politeknik 91.4. Okay, tak payahlah baca satu-satu kan. Maksudnya apa dia punya conclusion? Seramai 60% graduan bekerja, 60% lagi 40% tak bekerja. Mungkin kadang-kadang lebih tapi pelajar tak ada inisiatif untuk isi betul-betul. Yang kadang tak nak kemas kini. So saya mohon sangat pelajar FST supaya mengemas kini. Okay, nanti saya akan tunjuk statistik kenapa penting untuk pelajar FST update ni. Okay, next adalah trend kadar kebolehpasaran graduan warga negara bagi tahun 2016 hingga 2020. So you boleh tengok trend daripada 77.3%, meningkat 2019, 2020 menurun sebab kita pandemik. So ada sedikit penurunan, kita tahu disebabkan pandemik. Penurunan ni berhubung kait dengan prestasi ekonomi negara, okay, sebab ramai yang orang kata bisnes tak boleh dijalankan. Okay, next adalah yang lebih penting adalah statistik. Okay, ini adalah statistik graduan FST. Mesti terkejut orang tengok 2018 rendah kan. So masa 2018 ni kita maksudnya pengurusan tak adalah betul-betul nak pergi follow up, pergi contact. Kita tak se-agresif macam 2019. Mulai 2019 bila Pusat Lunar yang ambil alih, okay, kita memang follow up, keep on contact balik pelajar yang tak isi. Walaupun kita dah buat ibahan, ada juga pelajar yang masih tak nak isi, tak nak bantu isi. So bila kita dah contact, alhamdulillah lah meningkat kepada 96.68. Tetapi 2020 menurun banyak juga menurun dan tak capai pun 90%, which is agak rendah lah. Dan the lowest is actually in USIM. So a bit sad lah, right? So saya mengharapkan supaya semua pelajar ambil inisiatif untuk isi betul-betul. Bukan sekadar orang kata isi melepaskan batuk di tangga, tak. Isi betul-betul, attend any online training skills untuk meningkatkan kemahiran juga. Okay, jangan duduk rumah tu relax, saya tak buat apa-apa. Sementara nak tunggu kombo, nak cuti sebab dah 4 tahun belajar penat kan. So ingatlah bukanlah hari-hari pun kan korang nak cuti kan. So berpada-padalah dan tingkatkan you punya skills. So that is very important. Okay, next statistik adalah mengikut program. Okay, ini adalah daripada 2018, 2019 dan 2020. Kita boleh tengok trend Okay, yang the latest one, saya tengok yang 2020 saya akan baca. Fizik gunaan 80.7%, keselamatan dan jaminan maklumat which is computer science 100%, berturut-turut bagi 2019 dan 2020. Kita tahu memang ada demand, lebih lagi bila dalam pandemik ni semua bergantung kepada IT, computer science. Okay, right. And then next we have the actuarial science. Science actuary dah pengurusan risiko meningkat alhamdulillah 96.7% kepada 100%. And then bioteknologi makanan daripada 71 meningkat sama 4 tapi menurun kepada 81. Kita boleh tengok trend kat sini, bioteknologi dengan fizik gunaan menurun agak drastik dan banyak. Okay, saya mohon sangat-sangat ada tak graduan fizik gunaan dan bioteknologi makanan. So you have to be creative, you have to learn how to orang kata generate income. Kadang-kadang dalam situasi sekarang susah nak mencari pekerjaan dalam mengikut bidang betul-betul, at least you start with the entrepreneur punya apa orang kata side ke, start dengan business ke, right? So that is something yang you boleh menjana. That is also definisi bekerja. Okay. And then kita ada teknologi kimia industri, alhamdulillah meningkat juga 100%. Dan seterusnya kita ada matematik kewangan menurun daripada 2019 100%. Menurun kepada 91.2%. Tetapi tak bermaknalah program lain tu akan sentiasa 100% sebab dia mengikut kohort, mengikut tahun juga berbeza. Sebab inisiatif setiap pelajar tu berbeza setiap tahun. So saya mohonlah pada semua pelajar FST supaya mengisi betul-betul bila tarikh dibuka, dan juga kalau tak bekerja pun at least something you buatlah something untuk meningkatkan kemahiran. Okay, attend apa-apa. Sekarang ni online banyak session boleh attend. Macam-macam, tapi try lah to attend yang related to your program especially lah. Okay. Okay, next we have the grade portal sehenti kepada graduan untuk mendapatkan maklumat mengenai peluang kerjaya, program dan tips meningkatkan kebolehpasaran graduan. Okay, bagi yang tak pernah buka website Muhain tu boleh try search. Okay, banyak sebenarnya info yang you boleh klik. Ada sistem permohonan program penjana KPT CAP. Okay, kalau untuk program ISA memang banyaklah. Ada grant KPT CAP yang pusat lunar dapat dan kita ada adakan kata sijil Jadi kalau program lain pun kalau you nak attend ada setengah-setengah kadang-kadang info yang kita share kepada program lain melalui Telegram ataupun you boleh join juga program penjana universiti lain. Tak semestinya daripada USIM. Kadang-kadang kalau perasan saya ada juga share yang daripada UTM ke, daripada UPM. Okay. So you boleh join. Okay, and then apa lagi? These are all the things lah, modul utama dalam apa orang kata grade portal ni. So try explore. Okay, implikasi GE rendah. Ni yang saya penting kenapa pentingnya kenapa kita perlu mengisi SKPG ni betul-betul dan fahamkan. Okay. Kalau kita tengok sebelum ni artikel dah pernah ada 85 program akademik tak laku dilupuskan. Macam mana dia observe benda ni untuk jumutkan program? Bila dia tengok GE rendah, GE yang mana? Yang statistik saya tunjuk tadi tu. Sekarang ni dalam USIM, untuk FB dengan AP memang antara yang adalah bottom apa orang kata bottom 10 yang terendah dalam USIM. Okay, so saya mohon sangat-sangat semua pelajar dan program lain pun sebab dia mengikut kohort. Maksudnya pelajar tu sendiri kena ada inisiatif bila saya share dari sekian tarikh you kena isilah betul-betul. Dan bila dah dapat peluang pekerjaan, update balik. Janganlah bagi alasan busy kerja. Benda ni penting. Kita buka berminggu, takkan you busy hari-hari. Takkan you kerja sampai malam kan, 24 jam. So janganlah terlalu mementingkan diri sendiri sebab benda ni implikasi kepada universiti, implikasi kepada fakulti, implikasi kepada junior you. Okay, bila kita nak buat promosi kita tengok graduan daripada program ni rendah, tak dapat peluang pekerjaan. Okay, susah. Okay, lagi satu artikel JPT gugur 38 program akademik. Ni pun sebab dia tengok statistik lah. Satu kemasukan. Bila kemasukan rendah, lagi satu adalah di mana pelajar-pelajar ni boleh tak dapat peluang pekerjaan melalui SKPG ni lah. KPT tengok. Okay. Universiti tak boleh lah nak buat apa orang kata dia punya sistem sendiri sebab nanti akan berbeza dia punya survey. Jadi KPT yang akan monitor. Okay, kalau korang perasan buat masa sekarang ni di IJFST memang kita akan adakan ucapan tahniah lah bagi pelajar-pelajar yang telah mendapat lantikan. Okay, bagi pelajar yang telah mendapat lantikan penawaran pekerjaan, alhamdulillah dan tahniah. Dan saya harap kamu keep on update pada penyelaras LI masing-masing. Okay, ada setengah pelajar yang kenal saya mungkin diorang update terus kepada saya. Terima kasih. Dan yang bagi pelajar yang belum lagi mendapat peluang pekerjaan, jangan berputus asa. Teruskan tingkatkan lagi you punya kemahiran. So lepas ni punya slot memang sepatutnya lebih menarik lah. Macam mana you nak improve you punya orang kata skills on the communications, you punya resume content. Okay, macam mana you nak nego, nak bercakap semua. Bercakap melalui email, bercakap melalui, sekarang ni semua online. Macam mana you nak bercakap dalam WhatsApp? Macam mana you nak bercakap dengan Telegram? Okay, dengan Telegram pula. Menggunakan medium Telegram. Okay, right. So sangat penting SKPG ni. Okay, apa inisiatif USIM dan FST? Okay, nak bantu pelajar-pelajar untuk yang akan grad ni. Okay, kita adakan hari kejaya USIM. Sebenarnya saya ada share beberapa poster. So you boleh attend. Macam semalam pagi ada Advanced Excel punya bengkel. So why not you join? Pelajar SRM ada tak yang join? FM ada tak join? Excel tu penting tau. Ramai lagi tak familiar. Kalau you sangat orang kata expert you punya Excel, you boleh pergi banyak bidang. Okay. Applied Physics pun penting juga sebenarnya Excel tu. So tak kisahlah you program apa, kalau you nak buat ada banyak data, you nak apa orang kata data tu you nak represent, you guna Excel lah. Tak adalah buat setakat orang kata guna graph biasa-biasa tak. So dia ada certain coding juga yang you boleh belajar. So improve lah masa cuti ni. Okay, so bila you ada extra knowledge tu, pelajar FB ke, pelajar AP ke, TKI ke, so you boleh letak dalam you punya resume, you ada value added yang student lain tak ada. Kalau tak nanti contohnya pelajar kimia, dia hanya tahu dia punya apa orang kata resume dia pasal kimia je, dia tak ada langsung tools yang lain. Okay, so penting benda-benda ni teknologi you kena tahu sebab sekarang ni memang banyak kerja work from home. Okay, so nak tak nak, whether you like it or not, you memang kena belajar di digital skills punya tools. Okay, dan you apply dalam you punya bidang masing-masing. Okay. Right, seterusnya saya rasa pihak Pusat Lunar juga adakan kerjasama Perkeso, KBS dan dengan Protege. So please check, kalau you tak buka poster saya tu pun dekat Telegram, you pergi je dekat IG Pusat Lunar dan Kejaya USIM, nama IG tu. Okay. Dan seterusnya aktiviti ceramah forum. So hari ni adalah hari orang kata seminar hari kejaya mengikut fakulti masing-masing. So this is our initiative lah. Diharapkan semua pelajar dapat attend. Bukanlah semata-mata kehadiran untuk dapat e-sijil. Tak. Okay. Apa inisiatif USIM dan FST? Okay, Hari USIM, Hari Kejaya USIM diadakan pada 20 hingga 23 September. Hari Kejaya Belia semalam tentang AI talk dan betapa pentingnya AI. Dan ada juga sebenarnya pelajar daripada program lain yang excel dalam certification AI, bukan saja computer science. Okay, kalau you ada minat boleh saja. Sebenarnya pelajar, asalkan you ada pelajar daripada science, especially kalau macam fizik tu pun sama related. Okay. And then semalam ni yang saya beritahu bengkel Excel basic pro. Tak ramai lagi yang mahir advanced Excel sebenarnya. Okay. And then you boleh also join belia berapa hari bulan ni yang Carnival Kejaya dan Talian. 23 September 9 pagi dengan FWD Takaful. Okay, untuk makluman semua, bila saya tengok statistik pelajar SRM dengan FM, ramai juga yang dapat graduate trainee program dengan FWD Takaful. So why not you try? Dia nak kelayakan tu pun degree. So bolehlah start mohon dan join besok 23 September untuk pelajar matematik keuangan dan juga apa orang kata SRM. Okay. Dan follow lah IG Pusat Lunar dan Kejaya USIM untuk mendapat info-info. Okay, dan seterusnya inilah inisiatif fakulti sendiri. Dan Alhamdulillah kita berada dalam slot 3, slot akhir, dan insyaAllah pukul 3 nanti akan berakhir dengan slot lagi satulah yang insyaAllah lebih menarik lah. Okay. Ini adalah tarikh-tarikh penting. Bila tarikh buka sistem SKPG, KPT melalui 25 Oktober. So nanti bila saya dah share benda-benda ni, info ni melalui ketua program korang ataupun melalui Telegram tahun 4 FST, tolonglah baca, okay, dan tolonglah isi. Tarikh tutup sampai 31 Disember. Memang lama, tapi kadang-kadang kalau kita try selalu delay, procrastinate, kita tak akan isi. Besoklah, lepas tu terus lupa. Tiba-tiba je dah sampai 1 Januari, lupa doktor. Senang je bagi alasan lupa. Kalau ramai macam tu, sebab itulah GE jadi rendah. Sebab ramai yang tidak mengisi dan tidak ambil maklum dengan tarikh-tarikh penting ni. Okay, seterusnya dia akan buka balik tarikh tutup SKPG 2, 28 Februari. Okay. So data yang tadi statistik yang saya share tadi tu sampai 28 Februari 2021 lah hari tu. Dan insyaAllah jika diizinkan Allah, okay, cuaca pun baik, apa ni orang kata pandemik pun berkurangan, dapatlah kita orang kata harapnya lah convocation secara face to face 23 hingga 25 November, tapi flow-nya kita masih tak tahu lagi ketetapan macam mana. So please keep on update on the Telegram BPA ke Telegram tahun 4 FST. Okay, sebab sekarang ni semua info melalui hebahan, orang kata melalui dalam talian lah. So please be alert. Okay, seterusnya soalan lazim. Okay, dah dekat habis jugalah slide ni. Tujuan kajian ni dijalankan. Penting kenapa? Penting kepada negara merancang pembangunan modal insan negara dan juga sosio ekonomi. Okay. So nak tengoklah graduan kita banyak berada di mana satu Malaysia ni, berapa ramai dapat pekerjaan, dan bila you bekerja dia akan tanya details tau, kerja kat mana, semua apa benda bidang. Okay, tolong fill up. Jangan sebab rasa malas lepas tu terus je pilih tak bekerja. Alah tak apalah saya seorang je, isi macam tu. Kalau awak seorang tapi sebenarnya ada ramai lagi berfikiran macam awak ni, nanti DE peratus akan jadi rendah. Tak nampak menarik lah pada program, tak nampak menarik lah pada junior bila promote. Okay, faham kenapa perlu isi SKPG dengan orang kata dengan betul lah. Okay, berapa masa yang diambil untuk melengkapkan kajian ni? Okay, saya ambil benda ni sumber daripada Mohe punya portal. So dia kata 5 minit, tapi saya tak tahulah sebab saya pun tak pernah isi. Okay, zaman saya tak ada lagi benda ni. Berapa kali kemaskinan status pekerjaan ini boleh dilakukan? Katanya tiada had. Okay, as long sistem tu dibuka lagi, you boleh keep on update. Namun begitu kemaskinan seterusnya hanya dibenarkan pada hari berikutnya. Okay, maksudnya kalau katakan hari ni you isi, you tak boleh terus nak update hari ni lagi sekali. Dia kata esok So anda disarankan untuk mengemas kini rekod anda apabila terdapat perubahan pada status dan maklumat pekerjaan. Seterusnya, apa yang harus saya lakukan sekiranya sistem memaparkan harap maaf maklumat anda tiada dalam rekod kami? Janganlah terus senyap. Kan, ada je yang macam ni. Sebab kes-kes berlakunya sebab ada program, ada pelajar yang dia tak kisah pun. Dah tak ada, doktor biarlah. Senang je kan. So you at least email lah Mohe ni, tak pun you beritahu KP you dan KP akan maklumkan kepada saya dan saya akan sampaikan kepada pusat alumni. Cuma flow dia agak panjang sikit lah, tetapi lebih cepat sebenarnya bila maklumkan universiti sendiri. Cepat-cepat bagi tahu, janganlah tunggu sampai dah nak due date baru bagi tahu. Sebab proses you bagi tahu tu ambil masa juga, bukanlah you cakap hari ni kita orang boleh terus buka sistem by key on the spot. Tu sekarang ni zaman ramai student fikir macam tu lah. Cakap sekarang terus 5 minit lagi dah siap. Atau sejam lagi dah boleh dapat surat. Bila you dah bekerja, you kena faham skop 3 hari bekerja. Kalau you email hari Jumaat, takkan you expect hari Sabtu dapat. Atau kalau email hari Khamis, hari Jumaat dapat. Tak. Kena faham konsep tu. Bila dah bekerja nanti 3 hari bekerja. Okay. Adakah maklumat peribadi rahsia dan sulit? Yes. Okay, maklumat peribadi anda diklasifikasikan sebagai sulit. Respon anda akan digunakan untuk analisa dan kajian yang berkaitan dengan pekerjaan graduan. So sebenarnya info ni saya dapat daripada portal Mohe ni lah. Sebenarnya ada 7 ke 8 soalan, tapi ada soalan tu dah berulang dah dalam slide sebelum ni. So saya ambil 5 sahaja. Okay, finally we reach our last slide before we proceed with Kahoot. So you are class of 2021. So cantik lah kan ikon dia ada gambar emas. Bila saya google, memang sesuai lah dengan kita pun kata dia punya tema. So you did your your online class with pajama, pakai baju tidur kat rumah kan, dan you grad finally. So harapnya insyaAllah bila konvo nanti tak adalah dekat rumah. Okay, moga kita dapat berjumpa lagi. Okay, next we proceed with Kahoot. Okay, saya bagi guideline little bit about Kahoot tentang soalan-soalan yang akan ditanya tentang SKPG lah. Ada 4 soalan. Okay, guna nama ringkas dan nombor metrik. Contoh, ni nama saya lah, Kina. You letak nombor metrik you apa? Right? And then ambil screenshot ID yang digunakan sekiranya you berada dalam top 4. Okay, and then you buat screenshot tu you hantar kepada PIC berikut untuk bagi screenshot, nombor akaun dan nama bank. So 4 pelajar akan dapat RM15 setiap seorang. So about RM60 lah for this session. Okay, saya akan end sharing dulu sebelum saya masuk saya punya Kahoot. So please get ready with your handphone ke laptop ke untuk Kahoot. Okay, before we start with Kahoot, any questions? Apa yang tak clear tentang SKPG nak tanya boleh tanya sekarang. Tak ada dah? Semua faham ke? Kenapa penting isi SKPG ni? Okay, tak apa, kita tengok outcome. Ramai tak boleh jawab Kahoot saya. Okay. We'll open. Right, saya tak share screen lagi kan? So, memang tak share lagi lah. Kalau tak, nanti you nampak. So, your Kahoot is loading. Okay, I think I can share now. Share content, include computer sound, screen. So now can you see my Kahoot page?
Yes, Doctor.
Okay, good. So everyone is ready to answer it? So top 4 students with highest marks and fastest answer will get RM15 each. So the game pin here is 7110. Baru tadi bagi tahu kat line, letaklah you punya matric number, senang. Tapi tak apalah kalau you nak, as long you boleh bagi screenshot yang penting. Segan nak tunjuk matric number. So let's see how many. Boleh dengar ke lagu Kahoot ni ke saya seorang je dengar? Kuat ke perlahan? Sebab saya dah pakai high volume dah.
Perlahan.
Perlahan.
Datuk.
Oh, ni volume kat sini. Okay, dah. Kuat sangat. Okay, what is the limit for Kahoot? I'm not so sure. Now we have about 118, 120. Berapa Kahoot boleh ambil ni? Limit. Handsome. Oh, siapa handsome ni? Itulah, kita aminkan je. So far Kahoot masih lagi terima 135, 136. Ada lagi ke? I believe Kahoot saya pun free version, probably dia ada limit jugalah. So siapa cepat dia dapatlah kan masuk. So let's proceed. Dah 2.48, saya akan klik start Ada lagi ke nak join ni? Saya tak nampak chat box, so you kena, orang kata, respon lah. Manja comel. Siapa manja comel ni? Okay, nampak macam boleh naik lagi. 148. Okay, any more? So we can start now, I think. Right? Ada lagi masuk Okay. Komiti pun masuk ke? Yang dah tengok soalan tu, dah tengok soalan bocor, mohon tidak sertai. Okay, start. Kita tengok soalan dia, senang je ni. Definisi bekerja menurut SKPG ialah ada juga yang salah. Okay, kan tadi saya cakap apa-apa yang you lakukan menjana pendapatan dikira sebagai bekerja. Okay, so next. Alright, siapa ni? 861. Okay, next. Malu pun ada. Okay, siapa sasaran peserta SKPG? Soalan senang ni. Kalau you nak menang, bolehlah jawab betul. Ada juga yang salah. So nampaklah you tak alert kan? Okay, pelajar yang layak dianugerahkan ijazah dan bakal bergraduasi. Bila dah layak tu automatik dia memang pelajar tahun akhir lah maksudnya. Okay, cuma yang ini jawapan dia tak berapa orang kata pelajar tahun akhir, tapi boleh jadi dia tak habis lagi. Dia belum LDI. Okay, siapa? Oh, A lagi. Ni lagi sikit ni. Tak ada orang nak potong dia ke? Okay, next question, number 3. Berapa kali kemaskini status pekerjaan boleh dilakukan? Soalan muncul kat tadi ni. Harapnya ada persen lah jawab. Ramai juga salah. Tak ada had. As long you boleh update. Kan saya kata tadi you boleh update pada esok hari. Selagi sistem tu dibuka. Okay. Oh, performance betul AA ni. Memang betul double A ya. Patut dia pakai AA kan. Okay, last question. Finally. Berapa peratus kebolehpasaran FST-USIM pada tahun 2020? Ini pun soalan bocor. Okey, ramai juga yang salah. Mesti tak perasan kot. Statistik tadi kan saya ditunjuk 89.9% untuk FST keseluruhan. Okey, yang jawab sempurna tak tahulah dia jawab ikut program dia kot. Okey, kita menjawab bagi 6 program punya statistik. So finally, who is the winner top 4? You ambil screenshot dan inform pada apa ni orang kata? Komiti lah yang tadi nombor PIC saya bagi. Wow, orang lain dah. Yang tadi AA hilang dah. Betul. Siapa ni? Husna. Inshik. And then top 4 saya rasa saya kena tengok siapa yang dapat top 4 ni. Okay. Make sure you make a screenshot Saya nak tengok top 4 tu siapa sebab kita nak bagi duit pada 4 orang Tadi tu dia ada top 3 je. So yang keempat. Siapa ni? So boleh bagi you punya apa kata account bank, account number kepada PIC tadi. Simpan tak nombor PIC tadi? Saya buka balik lah. Ada kat chat box. Okey, alhamdulillah.
Keluar
Okay.
bosan.
Siapa dah bosan tu? Alright. Lupa nak unmute lah tu. Okay. I think itu saja daripada saya. Before I leave my session, kita akan bersambung pula dengan slot yang ke-3. So I hope everyone already get some idea what is actually about SKPG dan kenapa penting untuk isi SKPG, dan saya berharap sangat supaya statistik FST secara keseluruhan dapat meningkat balik kepada 90%, terutamanya bagi program-program yang kurang mendapat tidak mencecah lagi 90%. Okay. Dan try juga untuk meningkatkan kemahiran korang masa cuti ni. Janganlah relax saja kan. Okay, I think I'll pass the session again to the MC before we proceed with the the final slot. Okay, terima kasih.
Thank you to Associate Professor Dr. Sakina for the talk and congratulations for all winners. Attention to all participants to fill up the attendance from 3:30 PM until 5 PM. For those who cannot view the chat box, you may go to YouTube FST.usim for the attendance. You may get the link from the live streaming. Now, for our last agenda for today, which is you got your degree, now what? I welcome both of our panel, Mr. Muhammad Shazani Fuad from Venturan Partner, Mr. Diaudin Fauzi from UEM Agenta, and our moderator, Dr. Muhammad Ifat bin Razali.
Assalamualaikum, hello semua. Hari ini kita akan teruskan dengan sesi. So the next sesi will be an interesting one, hopefully. Will be a talk by Dr. Shazani and also Dr. Diaudin. This is a very santai punya part. But before that, let me just introduce myself. My name is Dr. Muhammad Ghazali. I'm from Applied Physics, USIM. So today you got your degree. The title of this talk will be you got your degree and what now? Now what? So before I go any further, let me introduce the panel. So in my screen, what I see is that Mr. Shazani is on top. So Mr. Shazani is a managing partner in Venturan Partners, a venture and advisory firm focused on retail and oil and gas. He's passionate in helping graduates maximize their potential after finishing university and has helped to guide many students to achieve their dream jobs. So that's an interesting part. Dr. Muhammad Shazani graduated from University of Kentucky with a degree in finance and has worked in RHB Islamic Bank, Namura Islamic Asset Management, and MAHB, which is the Malaysia Airport Berhad, and among others. So next one is Dr. Diaudin Ahmad Fauzi. He holds a degree in Masters and also degree in Masters in Electronic Engineering from IIUM, where he accomplished a multitude of experience in subject of nuclear science, photonics and electronics design, and had experience working in freelance web design for IIUM, visiting researcher at Malaysia Nuclear Agency, and also a visiting researcher at CERN. If you guys don't know what CERN is one of the biggest research lab in the world where they study about God particle. If you guys know about God particles, so they try to prove that there's a God particle out there. So that's the place that Mr. Diaudin Ahmad Fauzi went, and also marketing chief of Berkat Vista, a homegrown startup which produce honey-based beverages. So before we go any further, let me just ask them to introduce again themselves. So let's start with Encik Shazani. So he can talk about himself first.
Hi, Assalamualaikum everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. As Dr. Fuad said, my name is Muhammad Shazani Muhammad Fuad. I'm currently a managing partner at Venturan Partners. We are an advisory firm and venture firm. So what we do is we advise companies and also invest in companies. And besides that, I actually have been helping graduates since I myself was a graduate to do their resumes, help them to apply to schools. I think I also did it for Ifat before he went to do his masters in Michigan State in the US. So I'm very passionate about helping people. I think a lot of students are underemployed. They're very smart, but they don't have their best jobs. So I try to help them out lah. So hopefully today will be an interesting session, and I appreciate if everyone can ask questions and keep this as connected as possible lah.
Okay, next we go to Encik Diaudin Ahmad Fauzi.
Baik, man yahdillah fala yudillah wa man yudlil fala hadiyalah wa asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la syarika lah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasulullah. Thank you, Dr. Ifat, for this really concise introduction of myself. And let me start introducing myself before we go into deeper. Well, at present, I'm a technical solutions engineer at Agenta, working under a digital arm known as the Agenta Next. I don't know whether you know what Agenta is or who Agenta is. Well, Agenta is a government company, or GLC in short, that provides solutions and services for the asset and facility maintenance business. And we serve across myriad of industry, which consists infrastructure, healthcare, manufacturing, and real estate. So well, some of the projects that I'm currently involved looks into, digitalizing or modernizing the current healthcare and building a hospital, to be precise, asset maintenance practices. Among the products that we deliver include currently a telehealth platform for remote doctor-patient consultation, currently known as Taklimat. You can Google that up. A clinic management system, and a computerized maintenance management system. Well, alhamdulillah, so far I've had the opportunity to be working in different business units as an electrical engineer, data engineer, data scientist, as well as innovation engineer. And I've also worked with various institutions and organizations throughout my 5 years of working at Jenta, with likes of Khazanah, McKinsey, Ministry of Health, MIMOS, Microsoft, and other GLCs. Yep. Over to you, Ifat.
Okay, thank you, Cik Diarin. So the reason why I picked these two panels is that for Dr. Cik Shazani, sorry, I always say doctor, so sorry about that. So Cik Shazani is in corporate industry, while Cik Diaudin is more towards technical part in engineering side or science sides. That's why I choose this two panel. I think it will be an interesting one. So basically, let's go straight away to the top, which is you got your degree, now what? So right now we are in pandemic situation and everything. So I would like to ask both panels, start with Cik Shazani. What are the job market overview that is happening around Malaysia right now? What's your perspective?
Yeah, I think it's no use denying that currently the market is not as it was before this. It's a bit harder to get jobs, but at the same time, currently there's a more opportunity in especially in finance and in project-based companies, like Petronas, like Shell, because I think now currently, because of the oil price being very low and all that, they're starting to start again with projects. And I think in terms of in finance, because a lot of companies are not doing well, there are a lot of mergers and acquisitions happening, and at the same time there's a lot of innovation happening, and all this innovation they're looking for funding, and that's where all these financial and investment companies play a role, including my own company. So when all of these are happening, more talent is needed, and especially smart talent lah.
So dia boleh ni tu gin. Kalau kan boleh ada mak yang ni kan mahal.
Yeah, I think maybe Diaudin can also give his opinion on the market from technical side of view.
From my point of view, well, as someone who's on the lookout for new talents, let me tell you that employment opportunities have definitely changed since COVID happened. Well, back in 2020, we can see on the news that people lost their jobs and many businesses had to scale down, or even worse, shut down for good. But like Shazani said, things are slowly but certainly getting better. And one thing for sure, the job landscape has evidently changed, and arguably more jobs are now focused on the tech and engineering industries. That's what from my personal view. And as much as the Luddites or other factions or political parties around the globe want to deny, we can no longer manage things manually. Mobile devices, computer and automation systems are now part of the new working norm, I would say. You can see, trends shifting towards technology with the emergence of, 5G techs, and that spurs more demand for talents in the IoT, big data, AI and machine learning, communication, edge computing, what else? Software development, and I would say electronics design and manufacturing. Which include healthcare, biomedical tech, and 3D printing, if I may mention, to help boost Dr. Ifat's popularity. Based on the stats, well, to add on top of that, there's the stats by DOS Malaysia. Well, that shows positive growth are now contributed largely by the manufacturing industries, i.e. energy, electrical, electronics products, and not to mention food and beverages. Also, recent rough changes in the climate have created more opportunities in the sustainability effort. So more rooms will be created for development of green tech, such as solar cells. I'm pretty sure some of the students here are quite familiar with solar cells, the heterojunction solutions to replace high cost IBC cells, and you have the hydrogen cells, which basically helps in managing FCEVs, electrical vehicles, and perhaps new refrigerants that won't cause global warming. But if we take a look at the global findings, research by McKinsey recently shows that the pandemic accelerated existing trends in remote work, e-commerce, and automation, with up to 25% more workers than previously estimated, potentially needing to switch occupations. Or essentially what it's saying is that the largest disruptions to work was already new tech and innovations, as well as growing trade links. The COVID is just a catalyst that accelerates the whole institutionalization process. But again, but if I may close that one, the pandemic or wake of COVID is not the final nail in the coffin. So you guys shouldn't be afraid. Well, the computers or the robots will not be able to replace us, like the ones you see in Terminator movie. Not anytime soon. So some things cannot be easily replaced by computers and software. We still need engineers on the ground to do installation, inspection, repair works, etc. And to back that up, research by PwC also shows that 70% of the people think tech can never replace the human mind. Well, yeah. So to summarize, you have to keep in mind that technology is nothing but a tool or an enabler. So it's up to the person who uses the tool or to maximize the potential of this the job opportunities. Or to clinch yourself a job easily, you need to basically look out for jobs in the sector and upskill yourself to be able to fit in the sector.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. So basically what I got from you guys is that pandemic ni bukanlah satu isu yang besar. It's just like a restart button lah. Everything was going to be restart again, and opportunities will be there. People will macam graduates yang baru nak graduation ni, or maybe dapat peluang baru because they may change the strategies of certain companies. Petronas are recruiting young people. Like say that Cik Diaudin told us that Ajanta is also looking for new talents because like we said, we are going to the era of IR 4.0. So semuanya ke arah IR 4.0. So teknologi baru akan berubah, the way that we think akan berubah, the way that cara bekerja pun akan berubah. So usually before this, people akan duduk kat rumah, macam buat kerja, pergi kerja, buat kerja. Nowadays you can buat kerja daripada rumah. So everything changes. So untuk graduan baru, don't see this pandemic as a letdown. Maybe kerja tak banyak ada sekarang because the economy is tengah nak naik, recovering. So maybe you guys can cari benda-benda lain untuk fill up this void, to go untuk benda baru. So like Cik Diaudin kata, people are going towards AI, towards solar cell and stuff. So maybe you guys can learn about that as well. In corporate finance, people are going towards fintech. Itu pun benda-benda penting. So kadang there's a lot of things that we need to know, all that. So itu yang saya nampak lah. So I think you guys should not be demotivated. I think maybe you can go in the future. So okay, basically apa selalunya lah, macam saya dulu masa I finished my graduation, I was thinking what job can I do? So usually apa job yang kita boleh pergi? Adakah macam maybe dalam panel tu sebelum ni slot nombor 1, which is pursuing a passion to follow, or pursuing a passion or follow the flow. So now adakah with this pandemic occurring, the nightmarish stuff is being occurring right now, should graduates, this is a question to the panel, should the graduates stay in their own field or try to span out? So try to go to different fields, or try to see which fields are better, and then if the fields that they wanted to go back in recover, then they can go back in there. So adakah dia perlu tunggu ataupun pergi buat kerja-kerja lain dulu sebelum dia masuk? Contohnya applied physics lah, dia minat dalam bidang material science, or minat dalam bidang teknologi and stuff, but then that kind of field masih sebab nak recover, it takes a long time to, not long time, it's just taking time to recover. Adakah mereka perlu ke tempat lain ataupun mereka stay dulu ke bidang mereka? Itu macam mana? So I think start with Diaudin first. Can you
Sorry. So to answer your question, tadi you say what are the skill set required to. Sorry, I didn't capture your question tadi. Sorry, if you tak dengar. Sorry, your microphone is off. I think so.
Okay, so adakah perlu pelajar yang baru graduate ni stay pada bidang mereka ataupun mereka perlu bercambah ke tempat lain dahulu before they go to their own field, because maybe during this time they feel that they are into, like for example, they're into engineering stuff, are not really there yet. So what's your advice?
Well, good question, Ifat. That's this. I would say, macam mana kira-kira ni kalau since we're trying to converse this more lightly lah. So kalau boleh tu I just speak from the heart je lah. I just beritahu my opinion and my based on my experience and knowledge lah. So usually new hiree selalu ada masalah untuk differentiate whether they should opt for something that they passionate about or something that really brings them money or where the money sits lah. So the question tu, it has to you have to reflect back on yourself. There's no one definite answer to that question. It all depends on how you manage yourself. So ada orang yang memang dia born with the talent yang boleh pergi ke mana-mana je. Some people they label this kind of person as jack of all trades. So orang macam ni dia boleh survive dekat mana-mana, dia street smart. So orang macam ni, to me personally, dia boleh pergi mana-mana in whichever industry yang dia nak pergi lah, whether dia nak branch out from engineering engineering or science field into startups business like food and beverages macam what I used to do like in 2014, or you can stick to your own lane and expand your skills or knowledge on that path. Well, having said that, I guess my advice would be to know yourself, to be able to navigate better lah in your career life. Sebabnya bila macam mana nak kata, I personally see that there are new graduates who work in my company, well not my company, sorry, in the same company that I'm currently working with, and nampak ada certain student ni memang dia ada masalah nak buat kerja. Bila tanya dia tak jawab, tapi kita nampak lah dia sebenarnya dia tak passionate dalam kerja tu. So bila dia tak passionate, dia susah sikit nak carry out task. Dia tak ada motivation or drive to be persistent. So in order to we will get to that later lah kot, Ifat, kan, to obviously explain what are the skill set that requires or the fresh graduates needed to excel in this industry. Tapi nak kata, bila you tak ada passion in that the things that you do, it's quite difficult for you to climb up lah. Itu satu lah. So follow your passion, but at the same time you have to be very smart lah, in the sense that make sure that apa-apa yang you buat tu, apa yang you passionate about, can bring back some sort of return lah. It's as much as we wanted to deny lah, yang kita ni, some of us they don't need much of money. Maybe ada orang yang akan boleh hidup ni lah secara zuhud lah, secara orang cakap what's the word tu, Ifat? Kira sederhana lah, which is good, betul juga. Tapi some of us are not the same as others. They have different needs and requirements lah. So orang macam ni dia ada tendency untuk pilih kerja based on the value of the work lah, in sense, or in other words ni lah, berapa pulangan duit yang dia dapat daripada kerja tu. So I don't know whether that really answers your questions. Tapi itulah kalau if for I don't know science and engineering students, I believe you can branch out to different spectrum of job lah. Macam contoh macam engineering, I myself was an electronic engineer lah. But when I was hired by Janta, they hired me as an electric engineer. Then they put me into different other positions and roles like data engineer, data scientist, innovation engineer. Those positions are, I would say, consider as new lah to me. But what I need to do to excel in those positions is to be agile and receptive in accepting those job and kira ni lah apa nama? Kira kalau dalam bahasa Melayu tak memilih lah macam tu lah.
True. Betul lah. Thank you, Cik Nordin, because it's true. I just want to share my experience before we go to Cik Syazani. That masa lepas habis saya belajar pun dulu, before I did get my offer in USIM to become a fellow untuk sambung belajar ke luar negara, I was teaching tuition towards budak-budak anak yatim. So that would be a good opportunity. So kita boleh just belajar dulu before we can have anything. Don't waste your time duduk rumah, kita main game ke apa. Don't use that time to do that. Macam Dr. Sakinah kata, you have a lot of tools online yang you boleh upskill your skills. You boleh buat macam-macam. Even USIM pun banyak tawarkan that kind of programs. Don't stop yourself from doing that lah. And then during my time pun, masa sebelum saya sambung belajar, we did a lot of stuff lah. Contohnya kerja dekat wayang, kerja ke apa. Sometimes it's not because maybe you have your degree in physics, for example, then you have your pride. Oh, saya tak nak kerja kat tempat ni. Actually, masa saya belajar kerja kat wayang tu, it's actually taught me soft skills. Macam mana nak interact dengan orang, how to talk to people. Sometimes you jumpa orang-orang yang berbeza. And then bila sambung belajar pun, I was not given the field of physics. I was given the field of electrical engineering. So I have to learn new things in electrical engineering. So you always have to expand and with doing stuff with an open mind. So janganlah sekali kita macam, tak dapat feel ni, so kita malah nak bekerja macam Cik Leonie kata, tak passionate. Sometimes we have to give all our full tenaga ke cara dalam bekerja, because we know kan kita pun daripada Universiti Sains Islam, the most important thing is bekerja dengan ikhlas hati, dengan sepenuh hati. So that's why you get your rewards of pahala lah. So let's go to Cik Syazani. He might have some inputs on that as well. Mute rasanya, termute.
Yeah, sorry about that. No, what Dr. Ifat was saying just now about passion versus flow, I think what I like to tell young people is that you can follow your passion, but make sure your passion makes money lah. That's the most important part, because I know a young law graduate. She's very into humanitarian work. She's very into helping the poor people, being a lawyer, being an advocate, orang kata kan. Tapi those kinds of lawyer punya cases don't make money a lot. Jadi how do you sustain your passion but make money to support yourself, especially support your family, your wife, your family? You need to find a way to support your passion with money, whatever it is. And also one more interesting thing I want to say on Ifat saying whether you should venture into other kinds of fields. The special thing about tech students like you guys is that tech students ni kan, they can do anything. They can go into work, they can work in marketing, but at the same time they can work in engineering. They can work in operations, they can work in admin. Jadi that's the best part about being a technical graduate lah. Jadi don't worry too much, especially at the beginning if you don't get the right job. Tapi I think it's quite important to be able to sustain yourself at the beginning lah, to in terms of financially.
Okay, thank you so much. Now we go to the most interesting part, right? So, selalunya orang katalah the first step of getting a job is resume or networking kan. So, without resume, we will not get hired. Ada tiba-tiba ada orang datang kat awak, oh, saya nak bekerja. Supermodel maybe macam tu lah, ataupun actor maybe macam tu. But in the real world that we are facing, especially for Faculty of Science and Technology, from physics, from chemistry, from ASRM, from FM, from food bio to TKI and stuff, we have to apply for the jobs. So the job will not come crawling. Maybe kalau you anak orang kaya, that's different. That's more a different way of saying it. But now, so benda yang kita perlu buat for the first step, whatever we have to do is always do resume and networking. So let's talk about resume right now. So what do you think that we should do for graduate students yang baru nak graduate ni? Is it, what kind of resume do you have to do to get employed? So let's go with Cik Syazani first, because I think he has experience in helping people getting jobs. Even me, he helps me. I did my resume, so and then I sent it to a couple of universities. I got to a lot of good universities. Unfortunately, at that time, the dean at that time was Prof. J. Yeah, he said that you can only go to the US to study. So actually, I got into different universities in Australia and stuff, but he asked me to go to US to study. So Syazani helped me a lot in writing the resume, and he got a lot of offers, and I did got into a good university and a good research group. I will say thank you to him. So he might give you some pointers about what kind of resume you need to get into jobs, because he has already helped people getting into Petronas, Shell, Khazanah and stuff. So he might help you guys improve your resume. So can you let us know what kind of resume that you need to get into this kind of good jobs?
Right. Thank you for the question, Dr. Ifwat. What I've seen, let's talk about resumes in general. In Malaysian students, their resumes almost always look the same. It almost looks the same, and the thing is, especially more recently, graduates, they download off the internet, and sometimes it's too colorful, it's too much pictures, too many colors. It's actually, if you think about it, it's not professional anymore. You know, unless you are applying to become a graphic artist ke, something more in the arts punya stream, it's fine to be like that. Tapi I think if you want to apply for a job in investments, in finance, or as an engineer, keep it simple. Yeah, keep it to 1.5 pages at the most, and make sure you talk about just the important stuff and just the good stuff. You know, you don't have to mention that your SPM you only got 3 A's. No, you don't have to mention that. You don't have to mention that your English is only 5 out of 10. I see that so many times. People put scores. My English is 5 over 10. My Microsoft Excel is 8 over 10. Don't put like that. Just say you can talk English, you can do Excel. It's enough. Keep it simple. You don't have to put you are single lah. You don't have to put that your IC number. And actually, to me, this is a personal opinion, one of the most important things you shouldn't put is your picture. Let me just tell you a story a bit. I give you an example of a female student. I mean, hopefully nobody will get offended. Couple lah, just a story. Katalah a female student dia pakai purdah. Dia pakai purdah, ditutup semua ataupun kain ataupun tudung labuh lah. And then she applies for a job at Shell. Shell is one of the top companies in the world lah. Like literally the top company to work at. You can check all the surveys and all the research. They will say Shell is one of the #1 companies in the world to work at. Tapi dia punya culture is very, I would say open lah. Culture dia is very open. They like to enjoy, like to have parties and all that. So if you put your picture wearing a purdah like that, covering everything, the hiring manager belum apa-apa lagi, tak sempat lagi, dia akan put your resume aside. Alamak, dia ni doesn't look like a fit. Tapi who knows, actually under everything that the person is a very fun person herself, and she might just suit the culture in Shell. So we don't want to cepat-cepat close the door. And an interesting fact juga, hiring managers only have 15 seconds to look at your resume. They will look, tengok sikit, and they will to put it aside whether they're going to call you or not call you. And they get hundreds of resumes for one position. So how do you stand out? So these are the things that actually I provide a service for lah. Tapi maybe we can talk about this different in a different time. But finally, I think the key point is just to keep it simple. 1.5 pages, nothing more, nothing less.
Okay, that's a nice thing because maybe kat USIM, it's benda tu macam benda yang kita tak cakap lah. It's not something to, but in reality people look like that. So kalau ada je resume yang ada gambar, then you get job accepted. That betul ada. Tapi a certain place, if you want to go towards big company, maybe ada yang terima, but ada yang tak terima. But we try to eliminate that kind of stuff lah. So this is actually an opinion by Encik Shazani. Sometimes it's up to you to do whatever resume you do. Yeah. But actually, some pointers, it might be true because when I did my resume to apply for different jobs in the US, I was trying to just get the experience of interviewing in the US. So what I did was that I followed the tips, and then I got several job offers based on the resume that we did. So because sometimes kita tak tahu who is evaluating us. Maybe it's Malay people, ataupun Chinese people or Indian people. We never know because not being sometimes it's the perception of people. So kadang-kadang kita kena tengok lah macam mana. It's actually your preference. Depends on you nak ke tak nak. It's up to you. It's just macam kadang-kadang ada tempat you have to do like this. Ada tempat you can do like that. So it's actually depends lah. Tapi for my experience, what I experienced and my friends' experience is that it's true that sometimes gambar tu play a role. So takkanlah you nak before you people judge you based on your cover, kan? Don't judge a book by a cover, kan? So orang judge a book by cover tu, cantiklah buku ni, saya beli. Cantiklah benda ni, kita beli. But then dalam dia tak nampak pun. Sebab it's just like Cik Shazani said, 15 seconds, very fast. It's just scroll. Okay tak? Okay, dah. And then the other good things about Cik Shazani was talking about is that don't put your failures lah, because if you put your failures out there, people might think that okay, tak bagus. So maybe you can improve during that time. Maybe interview tu bulan 1 and then bulan 2 baru dapat kerja. Then you might improve your English. You never know. You might improve yourself. So don't put your expectation low atau put yourself down lah. So maybe for technical, let's say engineering, maybe Encik Diaudin can talk more about that.
Well, personally, myself, if we wanted to hire new staff in the technical for technical positions, essentially what we look at the technical and technical career summaries are. So to us, effective technology resumes has to be very short and concise. It shows the candidate's technical skills. So that a hiring manager shouldn't have to go fishing for this information. So an excellent way to include technical knowledge is to add technical summary or technical expertise section to your resume. And then if you may, break the section into subcategories so that the reader can quickly scan through. Like what Nina Shazani mentioned just now, they only have few seconds of window time to basically screen through your resume. So that's an art. Perhaps you can learn those from Shazani himself. But essentially, what we look at, the technical certifications, hardware that you've worked with before, operating systems, networking protocols, languages, programming languages. If you are from the computer science background, but having said that, I know that engineering and physics background or even chemistry background students, they also have minimal amount of programming knowledge, which I feel like should suffice at entry level. But again, you need to have that ability to learn, to be persevere lah in this industry lah, to always find time to upskill yourself lah. So macam Dr. Ifat cakap tadi, instead of wasting your time playing mobile games, lepak-lepak ke, even though sekarang sebab MCO dah lifted kan, so semua mungkin akan jumpa seimbang. Instead of doing that, allocate about an hour or two to go for online training or courses that can help you boost your knowledge or skills in the tech space.
Okay, thank you for that. So sekarang ni the most interesting question lah, I rasa yang orang akan tanya selalu lah. So how much do graduates generally earn? So kadang-kadang kita ni bila kita keluar, oh I'm engineer, or I am actuaries, or I am a chemist, or I'm very good at my job, then people akan say okay, my job gaji saya mesti dah 5,000, gaji saya keluar graduate 10,000. Is that the expectation that you have? So maybe kita boleh tanya from these two panel, what is actually the expectation of gaji wise lah. So macam saya pun awal-awal dulu, saya nak gaji 10,000, mana ada. Maybe ada, tapi kita tak tahu. So for me macam 10,000, maybe ada, maybe tak ada. So let's ask Cik Syazani for that question.
Yeah, again, that's a very good question, and I think the most interesting question that graduates want to know lah. But unfortunately, the answer is it depends. Gaji is always related to how hard the job is, mixed together with how highly qualified you are. Money is not free. You're not gonna get a high-paying job, tapi kerja senang, tak ada. No such thing. If you hear somebody is earning 10,000 ringgit, it's because the work is hard. When I first graduated, about almost 10 years ago actually. 10 years ago I graduated. I worked at RHB Bank, RHB Islamic Bank. My pay was around 3,000 ringgit lah. But I had friends and colleagues who joined Petronas, for example, and they were earning 5,000 or 6,000 ringgit. And actually in Petronas, in the oil and gas industry, in Malaysia, Petronas is one of the lowest paying. Can you imagine? Petronas is the lowest paying compared to all the Shell ke apa semua. And I had a friend who, as a fresh graduate, gaji dia was 15,000 ringgit. You know what he was doing? He was working as a drilling engineer on the platform lah. So gaji dia 15,000 ringgit, tapi is his work easy? No, it's not easy. He has to go duduk atas laut for 1 month at a time. And kalau meletup ke apa, that's the risk that he has to ni lah. Again, money is not free. He has to be away from his family. But it's a hard job. Tapi I would advise that when you're young ni, go for the hard job. Go for jobs that maybe you have to be away from your family sekejap. Because then you get to earn more, and then you think a bit more long term. You susah dulu sekarang, tapi senang kemudian lah. That's my advice lah. Oh yeah, and one more thing, sorry. One more thing when also thinking about compensation, about gaji ni, is also to think about the benefits that you get. Because contohnya, when I was working at Malaysia Airports is a government-linked company, so they have good perks lah, tapi the gaji is not so great. So one of the greatest perks of that time was unlimited medical. So when my son was born, we had some complications and the bill was 25,000 ringgit. Tapi alhamdulillah MHB paid for that lah, Malaysia Airports paid for that. So when you consider jobs, even though the monetary compensation is not as high as you would think, tapi you have to also look at the perks that the company offers lah.
Okay, thank you. What about Cik Diaudin?
A hot topic, I believe. So everyone these days, especially these days, are always on the lookout for jobs with the highest pay lah. Sebab sekarang ni lah semua orang nak pakai duit, especially macam COVID ni, itulah semua tak ada kerja dan they have to find substitute untuk get more money, and then plus on top of that the high living cost and I'm also a victim of that lah. So in terms of gaji, to be frank with you, betul lah apa yang Syazani mentioned tadi. Well, it depends on your qualifications and how hard the job is. Speaking of qualifications, if you are an engineer, I'm not sure whether we have engineers in this demography or in the audience. Tapi if you're an engineer, I would advise you to basically register yourself after you graduate, and straight from your graduation you register under BEM, and then sign up for the IR certification program because IR ni dia punya kelebihan, even though it's subtle, certain people dia tak nampak sangat, tapi IR ni memang dia in terms of gaji dah lebih sikit, and employability lah, rate dia lebih tinggi, so dia more in demand in the engineering or technical market lah. And kalau nak naik lagi gaji, like I've mentioned before, you need to basically get highly endorsed certification program or certificate. So macam tengah-tengah tunggu kerja ni, you can always do like I did last couple of months, Azure and AWS certification program so you can do that at your own pace and cost. Benda tu memang penting, bukan penting untuk apa je, memudahkan you dapat kerja, sebab currently memang orang semua they look out for people with that skill such skills, cloud engineering, AI, ML, macam Kina mention tadi lah, ada AI certificate. So bila ada benda tu, bukan saja dia buka peluang kerjaya dekat company lokal, but international juga. Sebab saya ada kenal few friends circle of friends yang kerja for US based companies, US UK based companies and they don't even have to travel, to be frank with you. Sebab the best thing about working in the technology line ni ataupun in programming line ni slash software, you can work remotely lah from home. So they're getting paid in US dollar or euro slash British pound, tapi they work in Malaysia, so that's one of the perks of working in computer science punya field lah. But again lah, kalau macam personally myself, I find quite difficult dulu lah nak land myself job, because pentingkan gaji jugalah. So bila terlalu mementingkan gaji, it's quite difficult lah for you to clinch a job lah. So my advice, apa-apa opportunity yang ada, you ambil, make sure that the opportunity yang you ambil tu akan set forth the right platform for you to grow lah. So bagus lah macam Dr. Ifat advice tu kan, dalam masa dekat ni pergilah ambil apa-apa kerja lah yang boleh improve your soft skills apa-apa. Tapi at the same time tu, kalau boleh you put high importance on, sebab ni from my experience lah, if you're working in technical field, memang kita memang tengok orang with the sets, especially nowadays lah. Saya punya team, honestly lah, saya punya team sekarang memang tengah cari orang, and we don't want just average Joes. Kita tak nak orang yang macam okay ada engineering degree saja. So we want people beyond that skill set lah. Nak kena ada more I would say knowledge lah and experience. And kalau fresh grad memang tak ada experience, so the best thing you can do is to find good certificates online.
Okay, thank you so much. So sekarang, you dah tahu macam mana resume, how do you apply? Macam mana you nak guna that resume to apply? Adakah you just have to email them or whatsoever? Do you have to have networks and stuff? So how do you start applying for the job? So maybe Cik Syazani can explain that first.
Okay, I think what usually fresh graduates yang of course fresh lah kan, they don't know much. The first thing that they would do is they would go to Job Street, kan. Job Street is okay, it's a good platform, tapi in my personal opinion, Job Street doesn't have the best quality jobs, Dia more on they're trying to hire on a large scale, jadi dia agaknya it's cheaper for the advertiser lah. That's one. Job street would be the first one lah. Tapi I think one thing that is a skill that you need to have is networking. How do you network? Actually, in today's age with social media, networking is so easy lah compared to our parents and grandparents dulu kan. It's much easier now. I give you an example. I had one of the businesses that I had before this was to operate T-Life, the cafe T-Life. But I wanted to meet somebody from T-Life lah. So what I did, I went to Instagram. I just messaged Brian Lu. Brian Lu is the CEO founder of T-Life. I messaged her, hello sir, can we meet? I want to talk about T-Life. He immediately replied, and a few days later, I met him dekat office dia. So that's how easy it is today to talk to high level people, to network. So that's one thing lah about social media. But the professional way actually is on LinkedIn. LinkedIn today is a very important tool. It has very good vacancies there. Tapi more importantly, katalah ada iklan engineer at Nestle contohnya lah. You can see dekat the job advertisement, siapa yang post, you boleh message dia terus, you boleh tanya dia, actually I'm very interested in this post. Can you have a look at my resume? What do you think? Boleh tanya terus macam tu. Tak payah nak pergi website dia cari vacancy, which sometimes works tapi mostly doesn't work lah. On the website tu to me macam bagi cukup syarat je lah, but they never almost never lah reply you. Tapi kalau on LinkedIn, you can talk to the recruiter terus, and actually the recruiter sendiri akan be impressed. Wah, dia ni semangat nak kerja. So I would suggest try to experiment with LinkedIn. Actually it's quite fun, a lot of things to learn on LinkedIn, and slowly build your network, especially now sebelum you all graduate kan. You try to join the groups that's related to your field of interest lah, and you understand more how your academic career can link to your professional career.
Cool. So that's nice. So actually, like Cik Syazani said about LinkedIn is that actually I did use LinkedIn before for when I tried to apply. I didn't apply. I just have my stuff or what achievement that I did, my papers and stuff. Then people will come to you sometimes. When recruiters comes to you and offer you jobs, that might be good. So LinkedIn and social media is actually very important. Like Cik Syazani said that he talked to Brian Liu from T-Life, and actually I also sometimes communicate with people from researchers who work with my field on Instagram. Say, oh, that's nice. What are you guys trying to do? And then approach dorang, tanya dorang apa. Then they're very helpful. Because social media right now, even in Facebook, Instagram, not right now, maybe TikTok, actually it's pretty cool right now. Maybe kita, sometimes people see TikTok in a bad way. Actually, TikTok is a good platform in a different way. So because sometimes you can connect, because for my example, my field is in 3D printing. Sometimes I saw people doing cool stuff using 3D printing. Then I ask them, what kind of material you guys use? And then they will just reply, because the community is very, very friendly. It's not like if you go to the website, sometimes people who reads your email, it's not the real people, not the CEO stuff. So I can actually contact CEO very easily. I can actually talk to the CEO directly sometimes. So in certain fields, we can talk to people with startup companies. We can discuss them using this kind of platform. So it's kind of cool right now. So use this opportunity, guna the opportunity ni, jangan malu. Kadang apa macam ni. There's nothing you got to lose kan. You email orang, kalau dia tak balas lah. You tak perlu risau lah. It's just jangan malu lah. Right now people buat benda yang macam dulu kan. Kalau saya dah dulu, what I did was that I sent my resume to all the deans of the universities to apply for a job in, maybe scholarship in the universities. Dulu hantar guna surat. Sekarang you have a tip of your hands. You can just, I like your work. Maybe I would like to contribute. This is my set of skills. I think I can contribute in certain ways. People can recruit you right in there. So jangan risau. So this is opportunity. Engineering, I think, engineering atau sciences or even finance is an open job. So macam even beverages, you can just message the founders of House Boom ke you can just message them, or maybe you can find someone from that stuff. You can just send them a text. Kalau tak
Jangan malu.
So maybe Encik Delvin can add more towards that.
Oh, thank you. That you bring up a couple of good points, Irfan and Syazani. Itulah. Well, personally, macam Syazani mentioned, I believe in social media as a platform untuk create good networks. Even though I myself don't use social media much, if you ask any of them, they know that I don't have Instagram. I rarely appear on Facebook. Tapi LinkedIn is very much important, especially when you wanted to upgrade your career ataupun you nak cari job baru. This is true because I have two friends. Ni based on experience lah. Satu Umi. Umi apa? What's the name? Umi Hasika, if I'm mistaken. She used to be Malaysia's top 10 most searched or seen profile on LinkedIn. Sebab fairly because she posted or she branded herself as data scientist, and then every single day she posted something new information or comments on her LinkedIn profile. Instead of doing that on Instagram atau Facebook, cerita macam benda yang insignificant, dia buat benda tu. Bila dia buat macam tu, dia dapat attention from job hunters, ataupun scouts. So dia disebabkan itu juga dekat company kita, dia dinobatkan as best employee for year 2019 if I'm mistaken. And she landed a couple of good job offers lepas tu, and now she's working with some other GLC companies with better pay. And I have another friend who's also good at marketing himself on LinkedIn. Dulu, to be frank with you, dia memang he was 3 years younger than myself. Tapi sekarang ni dia punya gaji double daripada saya punya gaji. Primarily because of LinkedIn lah. Dia memang pandai jual diri dia dekat LinkedIn. And then one day PwC approached him. He managed to nail that interview. And now he's a consultant in IT consulting for PwC. And so the power of that's the power of LinkedIn. And speaking of networking, it's also important for you to make friends or to in our term lah, kita kata macam kita kalau boleh memperkukuhkan kita punya silaturahim lah. Sebab saya percaya lah ni, sebab I myself got this job pun because of a close friend of mine lah. Basically he forwarded my CV to the CEO of this company. And then my profile seemed to be rezeki, alhamdulillah. Seemed to be orang kata apa, in demand lah during that time. So I branded myself as an IoT engineer, and it's just so happened that the company is looking for such engineers untuk lead IoT projects for building asset and facility maintenance. And it's not a bad thing. Kadang-kadang kita ada this apa kata itu, what's the word tu? It's not retrospective, it's stigma yang macam kata, oh mamak ni pakai kabel, senanglah dia dapat kerja. But kalau dia pakai kabel, if dia punya attributes or dia punya profiles in dia punya resume is not strong, he will not be able to get that job lah, personally lah, I rasa. So macam saya sendiri tu, I know I don't cheat. I don't know who these CEOs or top C-suites are, tapi it's just that they are interested in my profile lah. And speaking of which, memang kalau semua, saya rasa students ni sudah mesti dah familiar dengan hadis riwayat Al-Bukhari itulah, yang Nabi Muhammad SAW pernah bersabda lah, sesiapa yang ingin diperluaskan rezekinya dan dipanjangkan umurnya, maka hendaklah dia menghubungkan silaturahim. So it's important for you to kekalkan silaturahim.
That's a very good point. So nanti kalau ada apa-apa soalan, you can just ask in the question below. So sekarang ni kita go to the last macam section lah, which is preparing for interviews and negotiate. So I just give you a brief experience of my interview lah. Masa dulu I was interviewed for the fellow Siswaza, which is the scholarship to study in overseas. I was given a few questions yang macam provocative. So in my experience during interviews and stuff is that you always have to be confident lah with yourself. So janganlah kita nak takut-takut. We have to believe in ourselves lah. So that's my opinion. So maybe Cik Syazani can share what his experience in interview, become an interviewer and interviewee. So that would be a good experience to know about.
Okay, interviewing ni, I think the most common advice is the most cliche one lah, which is you have to be yourself. You know, there's no use being fake or berlakon just for the sake of getting the job. Firstly, the interviewer akan terus nampak lah that you are not being genuine. Tapi most even you tak ada berlakon pun, most importantly, if you are not a fit for the job, by being if you're being somebody else and you're not fit for the job, why you want to work there? You know, it's not going to be for you. You're not gonna enjoy it. Jadi you have to be genuine. You have to be yourself. If you are an introvert, tak apa, be an introvert. You don't have to tiba-tiba berlakon jadi extrovert. Not all jobs require you to make noise and be vocal about it. No, some jobs are suited for introverted people who want to work by themselves. But ada juga. And also what you put on your resume pun relates very closely to the interview itself. I give you an example. Actually, this is a resume I did for my wife. In fact, because my wife is a bit younger than me, 4 years younger than me. Jadi when she was applying for jobs, I asked her to put something on her resume that is a bit personal and interesting, you know, not just her achievements, not just her academic je, tapi I asked her to put that she likes to collect duck scarves, you know, Fashion Valley duck scarves tu kan. She likes to collect those, and when she collects it, dia akan maybe pakai 2-3 kali and then dijual. So it's like an investment. Jadi when she got her interview dekat EPF as an investment analyst, the interviewer didn't really look at anything else. Terus tanya pasal tu. You trade duck scarves ke kan? Then it became a very interesting point to discuss. So that's how an interview should be tau. An interview should be a discussion, bukan sesi soal jawab. It should be macam what's going on now, I'm talking to Ifat talking to me. It should be like that. It shouldn't be macam dia tanya kita jawab, dia tanya kita jawab. No, it should be going both ways and kita pun kena tanya banyak soalan dekat dia balik. And actually, I guess I'll also talk about this because Ifat asked me earlier, can we talk about gaji during the first interview? The answer is, from my opinion, you only talk about gaji if the person asks you. Dia akan tanya biasanya, so how much do you expect to be paid? Macam tu. Then you can talk about it. Dia kata, oh, I did my research and I think for this role, I think 3,500 is a fair amount. Macam tu. Tapi jangan pula kita jadi the first person to ask. Can I ask you how much this job pays? It's a bit of lacking in etiquette lah kan. Jadi orang turn off sikit lah bila dengar soalan macam tu. So that's how you should interview lah. It should be a conversation, not a Q&A between the person and you.
Okay, that's nice. So what about Cik Diaudin? Can you tell us about that?
I personally have interviewed a couple of candidates before, and well, we have to be fair with the fresh graduates. We don't really, expect much of experience or industrial knowledge from them. Having said that, biasanya apa yang kita nak daripada the fresh graduates ni, ada dua different positions lah. Usually akan ada satu ni dia panggil graduate trainee. So if you can apply for that, silakan, itu bagus because it will give you a vast amount of experience untuk basically navigate yourself in a company. Kalau tak pun for a fixed position like myself dulu ataupun sekarang ni tengah mencari. So usually bila you attend for technical interviews, memang strictly memang technical lah. But macam Syazani mention tadi, apa yang dia mention, dia kata apa tadi pasal dark tu yang dia suggest or recommended his wife to put on her CV tu, it's a very good point lah. Sebab kita usually macam Syazani cakap juga, kita kalau boleh di interview session tu kita tak nak jadi terlalu skema macam tu lah. Kita nak use something as a icebreaker lah senang cerita. So that works as an icebreaker lah. And often fresh graduates ni bila dia attend interviews and they had cold feet lah kot dia, macam usually lah semua akan rasa macam takut nak bercakap. Kalau even though the people it's or the person who's being interviewed tu pun dia apa panggil tu extrovert lah. Walaupun extrovert dia ada masalah tu jugalah. So kalau ada icebreaker tu it will keep things much more casual. So bagus ada benda tu lah. Tapi so moving on to the next point tu, I would say kalau technical ni memang yang kata you have to be ready, you have to be prepared with all sorts of technical questions yang your position, the role or position you apply for lah. Contohnya macam kalau you apply for data engineer ataupun DB engineer, you kena be able to answer simple question. Dia tak akan bagi soalan susah, dia tak akan bagi design question, dia akan bagi simple question macam so what does this statement means? So can you write a very short statement macam mana nak execute this query, macam tu lebih kurang lah. So dia tak jadi masalah pun kalau you salah, tapi dia punya macam mana, and then dia jawab, cara you menjawab tu lah akan menunjukkan who you are as a person jugalah. Tu pun important lah. Sebab ada pernah saya interview 2 candidates ni lah, dia tak tahu nak jawab soalan tu, tapi bila tanya dia macam mana, dia tak ada macam inisiatif untuk betulkan keadaan dia. So macam dia kata entah, tak tahu. So bila kita tanya entah, tak tahu, semua entah, tahu. Dia tak ada macam ada certain candidates yang lepas di interview, the first round of interview, dia lebih assertive, lebih agresif. Dia kata sorry bang, saya rasa ini memang lari sikit pada bidang saya, tapi saya boleh research lagi. Tapi from my opinion, saya rasa ini cara dia solution dia. Dia ada bagi dia punya opinion, and at the same time dia ada tunjuk inisiatif yang dia nak betulkan diri ataupun nak improve dia punya diri sendiri lah. So those kind of qualities are the qualities that we usually seek for lah. Sebab kita tak nak orang yang complacent and mudah mengalah lah, macam tu lah. So perhaps itu Cik Syazani boleh explain lah kot attributes of or soft skills that you require lah to succeed in corporate or industry lah.
Thank you, Cik Deodin. Because actually, to just a little bit add to you guys' discussion is that masa saya kena interview dulu, sometimes ada orang dia akan provoke you actually. So as students, jangan takut lah. Don't try to provoke tu is just to see how confident you are. Because certain jobs, for example, kadang-kadang even a lecturer punya job, I was asked very difficult questions. Sometimes questions tu is a provocative questions. It's just not buat you marah. And see how you handle your marah, handle your stress. And also sometimes actually dia buat, katalah sometimes they interview ramai-ramai, 2 or 3 people was interviewed together. And then dia tanya pasal maybe your pointers. Pointer you berapa? Tanya, tapi pointer you rendah daripada 2 orang tu. Actually dia nak tengok macam mana you tunjukkan actually pointer tu is not really decisive punya factor. So sometimes they provoke, tengok 2 orang ni has better pointer than you. Then you have to show your skills lah juga. That's the thing that you need to show. Sometimes it's always provocative. Sometimes interview nak tengok you confident, you boleh jawab, because sometimes you have to face your clients. Even for a lecture you have to face your students sometimes. So if your students are really like asking you a lot of questions, try to do some stuff, then if you don't have your own confidence, then you just might not be well. tak boleh nak jawab apa soalan orang. So you have to be confident at the same time. So maybe I think that's enough. So let's go to siapa-siapa nak bertanya soalan. It's an open, you can ask in the question box or you can just ask directly towards us. You can open your mic and stuff. So basically we have kind of like two questions in the chat box. One is from Shafiq Nazrin. If you want to ask the question out loud, you can do that, or I can just read it. It depends on you guys. So let me just read for Shafiq Nazrin. I think, Azwan Asiwa Mawi was asking first. So what about our experience in freelancing job? Because we do have a wide variety of fields that we did, which may not be related to our education background. Where and how we should deliver the information in the resume. I think this is a good point for Cik Shazani to answer.
Yeah, all right. That's a great question and actually very useful to put in your resume. Don't merely put the standard stuff macam what you dah kerja dekat jadi cashier ke apa. That one is good, tapi that one doesn't differentiate yourself. Tapi if you put things that are outside freelance, katalah you can put you worked as a freelance photographer for weddings contohnya, you can put that and it's going to show to the employer that you ni seorang yang go-getter. You know, you're not shy, you are very creative because you photography kan. So you can put that, okay, worked as a freelance photographer. That's going to be your main point. And then the first point you can put there, participated in 5 weddings and 1 tahlil, for example, contohnya lah, I cannot think. You can put that. And then you can put what do you learn. You learn that actually it's very hard to get payment. So you figure out a way to get paid first sebelum you do the job. Jadi benda-benda macam tu is you learn how to do business, how to be technical. Jadi in your resume itself, you can put mula-mula you can put your academic experience. That's going to be your first. You put your CGPA, and then you put your subjects yang you dah ambil. I'm not engineer unfortunately, tapi maybe mula-mula you boleh letak thermodynamics, you letak apa, calculus, you letak apa, what did you learn, what did you achieve, what project did you do, and then the next one you letak professional experience, dipanggil freelance. So you tak lah tadi you jadi photographer kat wedding, you jadi cashier dekat 7-Eleven. So you can put all that, but as I mentioned earlier, just put the positive stuff je. So whatever you put there, you try to spin it in a positive way. What did you learn? What did you achieve? That's the two main things that you have to put. 3 lah actually. Describe the job or the role. What did you learn and what did you do? That's the most important part lah.
True. I will add one more thing. Shazani pernah tunjuk dia punya resume kat saya is that dia ada letak yang dia pernah berapa lama dia pernah bekerja in consecutive hours. I think you should explain about that.
Yeah, okay. And one more thing about the resume, as I mentioned tadi, hiring managers only have about 15 seconds je to look at your resume. Jadi what I always recommend dekat atas sekali to put macam objective statement. So this objective statement ni kena a bit bombastic sikit lah. So dulu when I was working in the bank ni kerja dia gila sikit lah. You can go for 2-3 pagi. Tapi my record of working the longest was actually at Malaysia Airports. Masa tu kita orang nak we wanted to buy an airport in Saudi Arabia. Jadi it's orang kata live deal. So I worked from 9 AM to 6 PM the next day. That's about 33 hours lah I kerja. So I put it in the resume. I am able to work long hours and in pressure situations. Jadi it's a statement that akan terus buat orang tanya, wah dia ni apa dia buat kerja dah lama. So that person is more likely to call you for an interview.
True. So the next question from Shafiq Nazrin. He was talking about, I'm interested in joining venture capital firm as an investment analysis, but I can't find any jobs opening for fresh graduates. What would you suggest I do? So I think this is again, I think for Shazani, because I think it's more related to him. Yeah.
This is a very good question lah. I wonder what's your background, whether it's in tech ke, in what's the numbers tu apa nama Ifat? Never mind. No, I wonder what's your background lah, because being an investment analyst ni is a very interesting job. Tapi it usually takes a bit more experience. So there are two ways to go about this if you want to work at a VC firm, venture capital firm. The first more easier way is to try to be an intern first. Do what I said earlier. Go on LinkedIn, find dia punya the partner punya contact, find what kind of roles are available, what they invest in. Jadi you kena terus contact dia dekat LinkedIn. Ask, can I intern at your place? So when you intern ni, unfortunately, you can expect no pay ataupun very low pay lah. Tapi you actually, orang kata, get your foot in the door. It's a very quick way to go into that company. On another side pula, investment analyst ni, you can also go to a bigger company first. You boleh masuk PNB ke, you boleh masuk EPF dulu, you can masuk all the big banks, and make sure you get into an investment role or investment bank role. So this kind of roles, they after 2-3 years, it's easy to transition into the venture capital or private equity world lah. So also interesting that you asked this. I myself, I'm currently in this venture business lah. I don't want to call myself a venture capital firm because you need license to do that, and we still have not got our license yet to do that. We're still doing advisory and we do investments on the side. But yeah, good question. Again, I put my email dekat the chat box. Feel free to contact me lah for resume ke, for investment kind of career semua. I'm really happy to help.
Thank you for that. To answer the question. So now I think Madiha was asking if you have a mental health history, anxiety, depression history, will that affect your employability? If yes, how can you encounter to be more prepared in the future career journey? So I think maybe the audience has I think has a problem right now. So maybe Cik Shazani can answer that question again.
Okay. This is admittedly a tough question lah. I mean, especially recently kan, a lot of people are suffering from this kind of issues. Tapi actually, I spoke to my mother just about this a few days ago. She said, of course, the first thing we should do is we turn back to Allah lah, kan. We have to seek for His guidance and advice. Tapi when it comes to work, you have to find a job that suits you lah. Because, like I mentioned earlier, maybe you can find a job that's a bit more relaxed. You know, because some jobs are tough, you have to be away from your family, and that maybe if you think that you're not able mentally yet to get into that, you can find jobs that are a bit more laid back, a bit more with work-life balance lah, kan. But I don't think if you have like official history macam medically proven, I don't think it would affect you to get the job. Cumanya is how you yourself gonna handle that lah. And I think you need to be close to your family and close to your friends lah, and don't keep it to yourself. Because like it or not, kat kerja ni can be stressful lah. Jadi always keep that in mind.
True, mental health is not benda yang kita boleh take lightly lah, I think. So from my experience is that if you have some problems on top of that, maybe try to get help, borak dengan kawan, because everything is not actually, you have to have a support structure behind you. Even saya pun, I have my family, my wife that can help me in terms of depression ke apa. Everyone has their own depression and how they make it, how they macam keluarkan daripada benda tu. So bagi saya, for example, Madiha, is that try to take it one step at a time. Kadang-kadang benda tu memang a bit tough. I know I have people in my family, my friends who have depression semua. It's actually very, very tough things to overcome. But it's not impossible. So kadang-kadang I think first thing you have to know is your own capabilities. Because if you have your own capabilities, you tahu apa you boleh buat, you tahu what kind of skills you have, you can go into terms of different jobs. Sometimes maybe in finance world it's very difficult. It's not suitable for you. You find something else. So it doesn't really matter. Maybe you rasa macam, oh, I'll be left out. I belajar FM lama-lama. I belajar physics lama-lama. I have to get a job in physics. Actually, tak juga. It just depends on you. And mental health, you have, if you seek help. That, I think my opinion is seek help. Always seek help. Maybe I have the problem, then you go to that people and ask them for help. I think that's good. Good thing. So any other questions? Siapa-siapa nak tanya ke? Ada something ke? Actually, I have my own question lah. My question is that how do you how do you balance your work? Like sometimes bila kita bekerja kan, work life balance kita tak apa-apa lah. Macam even myself, I don't really know how to balance my work. I was like, okay, working, and then sometimes lah my wife marah ke, macam saya kerja je bila nak keluar, and that kind of stuff. So it's actually a problem. Sometimes bila kita suka buat benda macam oh tak kisah pun malam-malam buat kerja. Sometimes how do you maybe because he has a family and stuff, even you guys yang baru pun, even you baru graduate pun, work life balance is always important. So janganlah kadang-kadang even kadang-kadang sekarang ni pun orang-orang muda ada kena heart attack, ada high hypertension. Even myself kadang-kadang I was like checking my blood pressure sometimes, because sometimes it's difficult. Work is always difficult, right? So nothing is rosy about that. So maybe Cik Zani can share his experience with us regarding that.
Okay, work-life balance ni kan, it's a very debated topic lah. But my own personal view, as I said just now, when you're young, when you belum ada your commitments in terms of family, in terms of your anak ke, your isteri, suami, go for it lah, go for it, because cannot be denied that once you have a family, you punya energy kena split a bit differently lah kan. Tapi at the same time, when you talk about work-life balance, I agree, everyone must have work-life balance, tapi we're not looking at work-life balance 10 years from now. We're looking at work-life balance when we turn 50, 60 years old, right? So when you do hard things now, when you work until 9 p.m. now, you don't have to work until 6 p.m. when you're 50. So that's how I would look at it lah. But like my wife currently is pregnant and anytime can pop lah kan orang kata. So it does make me hold some projects first. I need to focus on it first. Focus on other things first, especially the baby lah kan. I cannot be going out doing projects that I would like to. Tapi doesn't mean I close that door lah. Jadi it's for the time being I focus on my family. But when the baby is a bit more older and I can start supporting the projects, then I will do it lah. Jadi in the end of the day, you have to ask yourself. Tapi my point is that before you have more commitments, go for the hard one. Do the hard thing now dulu.
Okay, thank you. Ada soalan, feel free.
There's one question on YouTube.
Jangan takut-takut, because there's nothing you can ask, because there's no wrong questions. There's no wrong questions. Tanyalah apa-apa soalan. There's no stupid questions lah. So ada lagi ke nak tanya ke, feel free lah. Jangan takut-takut.
I think there's a question here. Sorry. Okay. Okay, I guess I'll take this one. Yeah, just now as Ifwat said lah. Ifwat said just now that jangan malu, jangan don't hold yourself back, go for it, What's the worst that can happen? You just gotta know. It doesn't affect you in any way by getting a no. So, but at the same time, you want to go for a job that's above your qualification. Unfortunately, you must be realistic lah, kan? You cannot suddenly to apply nak jadi CEO of a company kan? You have to start somewhere lah. Tapi sometimes I know some of my friends, they're very smart people, tapi they didn't have the opportunity to finish their university, kan? And you know, I think now he's working as an esports analyst. Jadi he's doing quite well for himself. But he's trying. I think I'm a part of my business tadi kan, part of my consulting business. I'm trying to help him get a job at an established esports company lah, international company. Jadi I think he also told me that he's scared to apply. But I said, why are you scared? So I'm trying to help him with that. And again, you can contact me through my email there, and we can talk about it lah. How to do all these things.
True. Don't be afraid of your dreams. Kadang-kadang you never know what orang akan tengok lah. For example, if you go somewhere, even if my dreams is be employed in SpaceX, or my dreams is in NASA or Tesla. But I tried to do it, but like sometimes I fail. So I don't really feel ashamed about it, because it's my journey, right? So sometimes experience is very important. Macam like Jani said about our friend, actually we know him so well. So he's in esports. So sometimes people kind of tend, okay, you tak habis university then you become resident. That's not it. It's just depends on how you bring yourself lah. Kadang-kadang ada orang tu maybe they don't have the opportunity. Certain of my friends, I kenal even my students yang parents dia sakit. Then he has ada my friend, a very close friend of mine, he works so hard masa dia degree tu, he works so hard dalam dia punya degree, tapi unfortunately he has some problems, but then after that he bounced back for his PhD, and his citation, his research is better than mine, like crazier than mine. So I think opportunity will come, so you janganlah risau atau takut atau be afraid. Sometimes macam rezeki lah. Rezeki tu tak datang kita kena berusaha untuk dapat rezeki, and then kadang-kadang rezeki tu kadang-kadang lambat untuk kita. Maybe it comes later on in our life, maybe it comes early in our life, you never know. Certain people get rezeki awal, certain people get rezeki late in their life. And then bila rezeki tu datang, it's a good rezeki. So that's the thing, I think that's my opinion. So anything else, if you have any questions, please do so. Okay, now, okay, that's one. Nowadays, there are people create website as their online resume and profile. What is your opinion about this? So I think, again, Shani can answer this question.
Well, you know, sometimes I'm a bit ashamed to admit myself that I ni pun dah tua. Because now there are so many ways to advertise yourself. But of course, I've seen this, and another one that I've seen are video resumes, kan? They ask you to create a 1-minute video about yourself, and you can hantar dekat dia. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this. In fact, when you have a website, of course, you can have an address, kan? So katalah www.sabrinashahril.com. Then you can put it on your physical resume, your PDF resume, put it there. If you want more information about myself, click here. Jadi you have both lah. But I think you cannot run away from the basics of having a normal resume. Tapi anything above that, beyond that, is obviously a plus. Tapi at the same time, make sure it's professionally done, cantik. Otherwise, it can be a double-edged sword lah. Katalah you punya formatting tak cantik, you punya colours tak cantik, immediately we turn off the hiring manager. Jadi you have to make sure it's done very professionally, done well. Because actually when you go to work, when you submit something to your boss, if I'm a boss lah, I suka tengok kerja yang kemas. So your website is an opportunity to show that you can do kerja yang kemas.
I think I would like to add is that website, I think is a good thing as well, because then it shows that you are creative. You don't really, like say for example, you are physics students and just related to physics, that you can do websites and then you can do a lot of other things. So benda tu boleh boost your resume, boost your employability for that kind of stuff. So ada lagi questions? Don't risau nak bertanya. There's nothing to be ashamed of. So I think it's a good question.
That's a good question. I think if what can answer that first lah, and I give my views juga.
So for me, it depends lah. Macam for me as a lecturer, for masters or PhD, it depends on you. If you're not a lecturer, I think the best way you have to do your masters or PhD straight away, and then you have a good start in your research straight away. So, but sometimes sekarang this is a new trend where even dekat US I start this trend lah. Even my advisor, my advisor, they go to industry first. They go to industry, they know the in and out of the industry, and then they come back to the university. And bila they come back to university, dia buat masters and PhD, or dia buat masa tu dia kerja, dia buat master PhD at the same time. Then they get both benefit, industry as well as academician kind of side. So that's a good thing. Depends on you. Kalau you rasa you nak go towards master and PhD terus, and you want to become a lecturer, you boleh go get that path. If you want to learn your experience in the industry, the in and outs of the industry, and you want to gain experience, that's a good thing as well. Dulu lah, I think couple of years back there was a trend where even right now I think Malaysia is starting the trend where they bring industry players into the university so that they can get to know what is the industry doing, and then they can give the knowledge to the students straight away. So I think that's a good thing. So it depends on you. Tak ada masalah. You have to choose your pathway, and there's no right or wrong answer. For me, in my case, I got a scholarship. Finished my master's PhD as soon as possible. Although ada delay sikit, that's not a thing. But then you get your stuff. But the problem with in that case, I lack industry experience right now. So what I did for my lack in experience, I will go to the industry and work with them right now. So currently I'm working with MIMOS. So just to gain experience doing that. So there's no right or wrong. Maybe Shazani can help me in answering this question on the corporate side as well.
Yeah, I think what you need to decide first is what you want to do with your career lah. If you want to be a lecturer, if you want to be an academician, I think there's no doubt lah that masters immediately is the best way to go. Tapi from my personal point of view, especially for technical students as yourself, kan, if you are not inclined to go towards the academic line, you want to be katalah you want to be a corporate, you want to be an engineer, I would suggest you go to work for a few years, maybe 5 years or so, and then you sambung masters. And maybe what's even better, and this is some advice my father gave me, the best path is kalau you undergrad in technical field, lepas tu you ambil something like an MBA, and then you have best of both worlds lah. Tapi kalau MBA pun, especially kalau yang nampak overseas, they always say that you need to have minimum of 5 years work experience. Jadi an MBA they appreciate work experience dulu, baru ni lah. And then one more thing you need to consider, kalau you nak sambung belajar, usually once you really start work, you dah gaji besar, gaji tinggi, it's hard for you to let go of that earnings and go back to being a student where at best you get some allowance from your scholarship kan. Itu pun at best case scenario. So is that going to be enough to support your family? Is that going to be enough to support your Mercedes like Dr. Fuad? Or you have to ask yourself that question lah, whether you can support that.
Thank you. So ada lagi questions ke kat YouTube ke apa ke?
Yeah. Maybe while we wait for some questions, ada ke? Oh, ada. Ada satu ni, Fuad.
Okay. Maaf saya nak bertanya from Izzati, kalau contohnya bila interview session, if we do it in English and then at one point candidate become blur and cannot continue answer in question in English, but the candidate know the answer in BM, boleh ke candidate jawab dalam bahasa ataupun boleh ke minta permission to evaluator wait for a few seconds untuk candidate prepare in English before answering the questions?
Alright, that's a good question.
Very good question.
Very good question. Actually, it depends on the job. Katalah the job requires English skill yang tinggi lah. Then then again lah, then probably you wouldn't be interested in that job in the first place. So most jobs, kebanyakan kerja, I think dia akan fokus on English dulu, tapi kalau kita nak cakap dalam bahasa Melayu, it's no problem. You boleh cakap, okay, if you don't mind, boleh tak saya jawab dalam bahasa Melayu? Boleh. Tapi again, macam saya cakap tadi, jangan terlalu, don't make this like an exam. Ni bukan exam. This is a discussion. An interview should be, you should try to make it macam a discussion, macam back and forth, macam borak. That's how the best interviews are always like that. Jadi kalau you terpaksa cakap bahasa Melayu, try to be, orang kata, selamba je lah about it. Just say, okay, tu soalan yang bagus, it's a good question, but actually can I answer in Malay, blah 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 blah. Don't try to think too much about it lah, just be yourself. Tak payah nak formal sangat. Even though it is a formal event in interview, tapi orang kata loosen up sikit lah, loosen up. Jangan terlalu, if you're too worried about it, itu yang kita ada risk sikit lah. Mute Ifat.
Okay, thank you so much. Ada lagi questions ke apa ke? I think that's a very good point by Izati, because sometimes kadang-kadang kita just takut sangat, nervous, kadang-kadang we know the answer, we know how to answer it very well. Tapi kadang-kadang kita takut, nervous ke apa ke, kita tak boleh jawab in English. Itu tak ada masalah lah. For me, ada interviewer will tak suka, ada interview will rasa okay, that's fine. Kadang-kadang benda interviewer ni is a rezeki jugalah, macam saya kata, it's always a rezeki. In a good day, he or she will be in a good mood. If it's a bad day, he or she will be in a bad mood. So rezeki lah. So always doa lah dulu lah sebelum kita masuk. I have actually a tip lah. My parents always give me a tip kalau nak masuk interview ataupun masa saya bagi presentation. There's one time, I think there's one occasion that happens during my undergrad is I got a very tough evaluator lah masa saya punya final year project. There's one professor, there's one Professor Madya, and they always ask tough questions. So before I enter the FYP punya session tu, I baca Alam Nashra, selawat banyak, and then during that time, the funny part during that time is that the evaluator, the professor tak boleh nak tanya. Soalan paling simple dia tanya, ini berapa decimal point? You ambil reading tu berapa decimal point? That's it. That's the only question that they asked was that. So maybe kadang luck lah, bukan luck, Allah tolong kita, that might be things that happen to us lah. So okay.
Baik.
Ada apa-apa?
I may add before.
Maybe
speaking of interviews and I myself have sat for a huge numbers of interviews before lah, and I've turned down many times juga, and I've offered by good companies pun few times before juga lah. But nak kata dekat sini, kalau orang turn down on you, it's not the end of everything lah. I myself dulu pun ada that I was in your shoes dulu before. I have problems coping with my emotions at that time, and rasa macam that's the end of it lah, as in macam kenapa teruk sangat, macam I can't really answer his question, even though sebenarnya question dia tu bukanlah reflect who you are pun sebenarnya in general, tapi itulah nak kata bila satu window closes, and that doesn't mean that you don't have others and that's open for you lah, and so there's always opportunities yang lain. Tapi apa pun yang macam Dr. Ifat mention tadi, itulah semua tu kita sebagai orang Muslim, kita yakin rezeki tu Allah Ta'ala, rahsia Allah Ta'ala. So kena yakin tu je lah, and itulah. So since ni semua student Muslim juga kan, tapi mungkin ada yang hafiz kat sini, itulah surah Al-Fajr pun Allah Ta'ala ada sebut wa ma idza mabtalahu faqadara alaihi rizqahu fayaqulu rabbi hanan. So ada orang bila diuji, Allah Ta'ala uji, Rabbnya mengujinya, dia membatasi rezekinya, maka dia kata Rabbku menghinakanku. So maksudnya nak kata kat situ, kita sebenarnya tak boleh ada that perception macam aku tak dapat this job sebab maybe sebab betul lah Allah Ta'ala tak suka aku macam ni. Dia tak boleh, you always have to be positive lah, senang cerita lah. You have to carry that good positive thoughts or mindset lah with you. Bila opportunity satu tutup macam dulu, and then just a short one lah. I sat down for an interview, the Chinese guy siap bagi a mockery statement lagi. Dia macam cakap, kenapa I perlu bayar, I dulu ada master, sampai master je lah, tak sampai FAT and doctor. Dia tanya, kenapa you dengan, apa beza you dengan this Indian fresh graduates yang I hired from India. I pay him 2,500 and with you I have to pay 3,500 katakanlah. Tapi you and him, you both deliver the same task, the same job, macam tu lah. And then you can't even answer simple question. Dia ada tanya pasal electronics punya questions lah, and I didn't manage to basically make myself a good impression on him lah waktu tu. Tapi cerita dia waktu tu rasa macam ni I really like this job in this company. Dia punya location of the office, dia punya environment, dia punya brand of the company. Merasa macam Allah, habis macam I dah hilang opportunity nak work with this company. Tapi it turns out that company yang I work currently is the best for me lah. Sebab itulah I have a lot of new opportunities to grow and I learn a lot lah from this company as opposed to the previous company yang turn me down lah. So again tu lah macam Fuad cakap, always be positive.
Okay, thank you so much. Ni daripada Dr. Sakina itself. Can you share with us a few reasons based on the experience, if any, on why you rejected some candidates during interview? Thank you.
Shazini, would you like to answer that first?
Okay. From my own personal experience, usually we don't reject anyone for any particular reason, but it's because we like one person over another. Kan, katalah you interviewed 5 people, there will be one person that you genuinely feel is better lah, a better fit amongst the 5 that you interviewed. And usually it's not because of academics lah. I usually think in a team there must be some sort of complementary skill set. So one person good at numbers, one person good at talking, one person good at the technical side. So that's how usually I don't reject. Tapi there's been times when from the get-go, you just know, alamak, ini doesn't look like can fit. So it's more a question of fit. It's nothing to do with your qualifications or your background, but it's merely based on what you need at that point of time for the team. I don't know about the audience whether he has rejected people. You know, a lot of people apply to work with Odin. Very high.
I have, absolutely have. So a couple of times. Macam I kata earlier, qualifications and your GPAs or CGPAs are just macam mana kata, a platform for you to be able to get into an interview. Itulah. But that doesn't necessarily means that we look at your scores lah. Kita tak tengok sangat tu bila when you come for an interview, itu dah, that's a different story dah. Kita dah tak pandang dah you punya education background. Apa yang kita tengok is itulah the way you perceive things. As in, kalau kita usually in interview kita akan bagi more problems lah, and kita akan bagi situations or scenarios where you need to be apt and then very quickly lah, macam apa kena ada that thinking skills. Sebab kita nak understand your thought process lah, macam mana how you structure your mind or your thought process better untuk jawab and solve certain scenarios or issues lah. Itu usually candidates usually fail dalam tu lah, I guess so. And macam kata tadi earlier, character lah. Most of the fresh graduates ada that character that fits our preference lah. Soft skills is important. I don't know whether itulah Jani and Dr. Wifat have brought this up tadi. Tapi soft skill in sense yang dia boleh be presentable, It's very important, it's very crucial, especially if you work in a corporate ataupun even in factory these days pun, in order for you to rank up, memang you kena be able to articulate your thoughts better. English, sebenarnya to be honest I have couple of friends who are not very well versed in English, tapi dia ada that confidence level lah, dia boleh cakap sebab dia ada ilmu, dia ada knowledge, cumanya dia tak boleh nak convey, which sebenarnya kurang sikit lah, tapi dengan confidence level dia, orang macam okay boleh accept benda tu. So which falls back to your point lah, being confident lah. Itulah kalau kata turn down tu the reason why macam tadi I like Syazani's answer lah. Cumanya dekat situ kalau technical, memang nombor satu kita akan tengok jugalah dia punya technical skill set tu lah, whether dia fit our requirements atau tak, and then baru kita assess dia punya ni lah, soft skills. So but betul je ni, currently kita pun, you know, companies these days they like to scale down, not only because of dia lah di COVID factor, but other economy factor lah. So kalau sekarang ni macam our companies and other GLCs, they like to outsource their service lah, senang cerita. So macam our IT team used to be a very big team. Sekarang ni macam development, software maintenance, kita outsource to third parties. So our company becomes more smaller, the teams become more smaller. So bila dia jadi small tu, kita akan hire orang macam Syazani cakap tu lah, that fits certain qualities and roles lah. So we want to build an A team lah, senang cerita. And kita tahu semua orang ada different attributes and different strengths, macam tu lah. Macam myself sebenarnya, to be honest with you, I'm an introvert lah, even though my friends would disagree on that. But yeah, in my company, people always see me as an introvert. Kalau boleh dah, Dr. Sakina, you after this the students can do the 16 personalities test lah. You go to 16 personalities and then try to find out which of the personalities you are lah. So bila you kenal your personalities tu, then you know macam mana you nak navigate yourself in any companies lah. So kalau macam kita punya team ni, memang itu katalah, I am introvert, I tak speak much. I like to do technical stuff je, duduk diam buat kerja. Orang lain suka present, so bila babak presentation kita akan bagi kat dia. And then apa lagi tu, skill set of business acumen. So engineering, walaupun engineering and science background ni, semua rasa macam kita nak kena fikir technical, malas lah nak fikir pasal duit tu. But that is not the case lah. I always make a point sekarang ni lah, semua fresh graduates, especially fresh graduates lah, kalau boleh ambil basic finance or economics course, sebab benda tu is very important lah, sebab challenging times ni semua orang akan kalau boleh bila nak hire student, dia nak kena cari other qualities yang can shine that students above others lah, macam tu lah. And business acumen tu memang important. I've learned that quite late lah in my career life kat sini kat Jenta, and it basically helps me lah to get promotion lah, senang cerita.
Okay, ada lagi 2 question last rasanya. One is from Sabrina. I think kita boleh combine these two together. I think the last one by Hazmi, the CGPA make the panels turn off. That's one. And then from Sabrina, during the interview session, usually the interviewer will ask you to introduce yourself. What is the topic or content you should talk about to answer this question? Thank you for the question, sir. I think that's a very two legitimate, good questions. I think the panel can answer that, and then you can close it with your closing remarks.
Okay, I'll take this one lah. Usually when the interviewer asks you this question, I think some people might mistake this and they answer, "Oh, my name is Sabrina. I have 2 sisters. My mother is a lecturer. My father is a no." It's okay. Tapi the main point of answering that question is related to the job itself. Okay, katalah you are applying to become an investment analyst macam the person tadi. Hello, Sabrina, can you tell us about yourself? Okay, then you say, my name is Sabrina. I'm from Seremban. I graduated in 2020 with a degree in blah blah blah. Okay, in school at USIM, I studied this. I did this project. I'm interested to work with you because of this, like that. So that's how you should answer the question. Is basically what you should focus on is answering it how you can fit into their company, macam tu. And then for the next question, does GPA make panels turn off? Again, we have to be realistic lah kan. The first thing I think people will look at bila they look at your resume more than anything is your CGPA. That's the reality of life lah. I know sometimes people under different circumstances they were not able to do well during college, during university. Tapi the reality of life is that they will look at your CGPA first. So what I would suggest in this case, the first thing you can do is of course to network lah. You can message the person on LinkedIn and tell them, or even in your cover letter kan, when you hantar email to the HR, to the company, you explain to them why your CGPA was not so good. Contohnya my personal CGPA was not so good because I tried to do engineering at the beginning. Jadi my CGPA from the first 3 semesters was very bad, and it brought my CGPA down. So I wrote it in my letter. I said, okay, my CGPA is down because I did calculus semua and my marks went down, and that's why I only have katalah 3.0. But if we exclude CGPA from calculus from my engineering subjects, my CGPA is actually 3.7. So you have to write that in the cover letter, or you have to tell them through the LinkedIn punya chat or something like that. You kena bagi the reason kenapa low. But if you main hantar your resume and you have a 2.5, I'm sorry lah, it's very hard for you to get a job. You need to justify why you have a 2.5. You have to explain why you have 2.5. Maybe na'udzubillah your parents pass away during your final exam, contohnya kan. So you have to find a way how to justify it. But if there's no way to justify it, what you can do, you start at a different job first yang mungkin senang sikit nak masuk, work your way up. After 2-3 years, people don't look at your GPA dah. In fact, in your resume, after you are 2-3 years in experience, the first column, the first line should not be your academics. It should be your professional experience, your education kat bawah, belakang sekali. So they're not going to look at that first. Tapi bila fresh graduate, unfortunately, the first thing they will look at will be your CGPA. Yeah.
Darren want to add something?
CGPA again lah. Macam Syazani suggest tu betul lah. If you don't have strong CGPAs, perhaps my advice lah, perhaps the best thing you can do ada dua. Nombor satu, upskill. 3. First, you upskill yourself. Find online certification courses to basically improve your CV, your resume. Nombor dua, you can always talk to someone yang ada network. Mungkin you boleh tanya Dr. Ifat ke, if you know someone, or Dr. Sakinah ke, and they are quite familiar with people in the industry juga walaupun they're lecturers. Nombor 3, I guess apa tadi yang cakap mention, kalau if you don't have good CGPAs, I'm nak cakap apa tadi, the other thing that you can do is to how do you put this macam ni, so basically it's networking and what's the other thing that usually people do Syazani, to basically get themselves into industry. I lupa that's this one program,
career fairs and things like that lah. Tapi sekarang post pandemic ni tak ada career fair lagi lah kan.
Tapi they have some companies, they host virtual career fair lah, if I'm mistaken. Yeah. So mungkin boleh sign up for those events or programs lah.
Okay, thank you. Ni last remark from you guys. Adakah apa-apa nak cakap?
Yeah. Okay, so ada any, I minta izin dan bagi iklan sikit lah. Ifat, Dr. Ifat. Yeah, so as I mentioned just now, we are a venture and advisory firm. So we actually help companies with their strategy, with their funding. Jadi I know USIM has a lot of ideas, tapi mainly these ideas come from scientists. Jadi scientists, sometimes they need some help with the commercial side, with the business side, and that's where my firm can play a role. So I'm speaking to both the students and also the faculty. If they need some advisory services, we are ready to always do that. And to the students themselves, again, I ada bagi my email dekat the chat. You can send me an email and we can talk about how to apply, how to do your resume. Usually I give a free review of your resume. I comment and critique your resume, and then we can decide how to go forward lah. So again, my email is jani@venturianpartners.com. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Darren?
Well, nothing much from me, I guess. To close this off, I really believe that each and every one of us has to live with a motto or vision. So for those who doesn't have a clear vision, perhaps you can train your thoughts sekarang ni, crystallize your thinking and find out what your strengths are, your weaknesses, and what you wanted to achieve in your life. Macam tu lah. So the better you know how macam mana put, lebih baik you kenal diri you, lebih baiklah you akan perform in a company macam tu lah. So that's what I generally do lah. And itulah, there's this one Nobel Prize winner lah, named Danny Kahneman, and he practices this something that is called as prospective hindsight or pre-mortem. So I pun practice benda sama. So my motto is learn from the past, live in the present, and plan for the future. So technically, itulah I would advise for the youngsters is, walaupun you katakan CGPA atau your academic is not that good, you learn from your past experience, macam how can you improve yourself, macam mana nak menjadi better at current stage, and then plan for future based on whatever that we have discussed today or what we have shared with you today. You boleh plan macam mana kita nak structure ourselves and position ourselves better lah, supaya dapat a good job lah in the market, insyaAllah.
Okay, thank you so much for the panel. I think it's very banyak knowledge yang kita belajar. Good thing that kita dah dapat from this stuff. So I would like to say thank you for those who listen. Maybe apa opinion yang kita orang bagi ataupun opinion daripada panel atau daripada saya itu adalah pendapat kami lah. Bukannya always benda itu betul. It's not always right that what we think is right, but that's our experience from our experience. So from our experience, we like to share what we did. That is how we share it. So maybe kalau benda itu salah ke apa, it depends on the situation. Dan kami pun bukannya semuanya betul. So I would like to say, I would like to minta maaf jika ada salah silap in our opinion. So siapa yang terasa is just our opinion. It's nothing else. It's not prejudice towards anybody. It's not nak condemn orang ke apa. That's nothing. It's just our opinion, and we actually really want to help orang yang graduate because we are you guys before. So kita orang pun tak tahu the future. We didn't know anything. And then we are still looking for new things juga. Kita nak pergi interview, maybe Syazani atau dia nak pindah ke company lain ke, kerja tempat lain ke. Even for myself, I want to change my career path ke, apa ke. We never know. This is actually, it's a knowledge to me as well. It's a good sharing. Thank you so much for everyone who listened. Thank you. I'll go back to the MC.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. It's an honor to have us here. Thank you so much.
Thank you to our panels, Mr. Muhammad Shazani, Venturian Partner, Mr. Diaudin, UEM Agenta, and our moderator, Dr. Muhammad Ifwat, for all the sharing. I hope the participants will take note of the important point from the session. Reminder to all participants to fill up the attendance before 5 p.m. For those who cannot view the chat box, you may go to YouTube, FST.usim, for the attendance. You may get the link from the live streaming. Before we end our program for today, I would like to invite our guests and participants for our final photography session. Thank you for your cooperation.
Okay, ready? Smile. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Okay, another one. And together, Mike. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you everyone.
As a saying goes, to every beginning there is an ending, and now the program has come to its end. Once again, thank you everyone for gracing our program with your presence. We truly appreciate it. On behalf of the organizing committees, we would like to apologize if we have done any mistakes throughout the program. We end our program with Tasbih Kafara and Suratul As. Subhanakallahumma bika asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Wal as innal insana lafi khusr illa allazina amanu salihat wa tawasaw bil haqq wa tawasaw bis sabr. That's all for today. I end my duty as Master of Ceremony for today's seminar Hari Kerjaya Fakulti Sains dan Teknologi with wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Stay safe everyone.
Assalamualaikum.
Okay.
Okay, thanks again everyone. Stay safe.